Yes!
How does he do that?
Hello and welcome to Aotearoa, New Zealand. We are in Rotorua for the third and final stop of the Crankworx World Tour. We have a packed schedule of racing this week. 6 events rammed into just 3 days now. We've got pump track, speed and style, downhill. We've got the dual slalom, which will go on Sunday. And of course, we have slopestyle. So I think it's customary, we're in the heart of New Zealand and we want to open with a greeting that acknowledges and gives a nod first to those who've come before us and those who've departed. And that includes, but is definitely not limited, to Kelly McGarry and of course Chainsaw. And then we want to say a huge thank you and acknowledge the mana whenua, the people of this land who've worked so hard to make this event possible. And then, of course, it's a massive welcome to the people who've come from far and wide to compete and take part in this event. It promises to be a massive weekend of racing and riding. And the man stood next to me, fortune favours the brave, he'd probably be richer than Bill Gates. It is Nikolai Rogatkin. I am so stoked to have you next to me, Nikolai. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm so stoked to be here in the booth with you. Speed and Style is an absolutely electric event. Got some of my fellow competitors for slopestyle riding in there, so I'm stoked to see all the racing and all the tricks, and I think it's going to be a good event that we're going to get to talk about here.
And you've been at every single Rotorua Crankworx, haven't you?
Yes, since the first one in 2015, I've come back every year. I have a special connection with the fans down here, there's no doubt. Unfortunately, they're not on site, but we know they're watching from somewhere, so we're going to be doing it out here for you guys. And yeah, making the most of this Crankworx Rotorua and enjoying this epic location.
Okay, we're kicking off with speed and style. So let's take a look at the format and how it works. This is where two worlds collide. We've got downhill and slopestyle, those two extremes, and they come together. We're joining it at the round of 8. So we've got 3 judges who look at the different tricks on the jumps. And we've got 2 courses, so the riders race through both courses at the same time. But Nikolai, talk us through how it works when you've got a timed run, but you're also putting tricks in there.
Yeah, so in speed and style, the winner is calculated based on speed with time deductions given for tricks. Whichever rider finishes with the faster time after the judges reward them for their tricks moves on.
Okay, well, there we have it, that lowest combined score over the 2 runs. It's the lowest combined time. Each trick is scored out of a maximum of 150 points, and those 150 points turn into, every 10 points turns into a 1/10 of a second. So over 1 run, you've got a maximum of 1.5 seconds up for grabs. Jordan Scott, not here but never been beaten. So we are going to have a new winner on the women's side of the draw. Thomas Lemoine is here though, not in the hunt for the King of Crankworx title, but he's undefeated. I think we worked out in the last 3 or 4 races, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on him to defend that title. But it's not just about the jumps, is it? It takes a lot of racing skill to navigate the berms and the rollers through here.
Oh, most definitely. There's just so much strategy involved in speed and style. It's one of the most technical disciplines out there. Like you said, Ed, you have to be so fast through the course and maximizing your speed, but you also have to be so strategic with not only the tricks you choose to do, but the way you execute those tricks. You have to be perfect, and you have to make sure you don't lose too much speed doing those tricks. So a very, very, very technical discipline, and we're going to get to see exactly what we're talking about in these next few races.
Great shot there of those 2 final kickers, and you can see the scale of them with the people stood behind them. They're literally ants. Now, we've decided that for any of the riders and for any of you at home out there who need a little motivation today, we're going to give you a quote of the day. And today's one comes from a legend. Not the man stood next to me, but his dad. I'm going to make you read this one, and I'm going to make you do it in a Russian accent.
Okay, yeah, the quote of the day comes from my father, Vladimir Rogatkin. I'm going to put my best Russian accent on for this quote because it delivers it better. There is no good try here. There is a win or there is a loss. So that's the quote that I want the riders to live by today, the mentality that I want them to be in. You know, you're racing head-to-head here, so, you know, the only thing that matters is beating the guy in the race lane next to you. So there's a win or there's a loss. You got to put it all on the line, and you got to make it happen. You got to want it. We see guys like Thomas Lemoine and the other competitors so hungry, doing whatever they can do to win these head-to-head battles. So, yeah, it's competitive out there, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Vlad Rogatkin, he is officially a Russian Yoda. Now, we're getting into the women's draw first, and it's been a very difficult qualifying. I mean, we've seen Caroline Buchanan and Robin Gooms out there really throwing down early on.
Yeah, it was a tough qualification. The ladies were really giving it everything they had in practice. The conditions out here are very tough. And unfortunately, two of the strongest competitors, Caroline Buchanan and Robin Gooms, went down. Robin seemed to suffer a bit of an injury on her shoulder. We're not too sure how bad it is yet. I think Caroline was able to get up and dust herself off, and I think she's going to be racing. But the girls are out here flipping, you know, the tricks that they have in their lineup. When they do the flips, that's just a massive time difference. And not to mention just a flip, Robin was going for a flip knack. So let's look at the trick list here. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're thinking the judges are going to see out there. So right down at the bottom of the scale, you've got these really basic one-footers, ETs, one-handers, no-footers. We've seen a couple of seat grabs even from some of the BMX racers who just aren't used to seeing tricks. But then it starts to step up. You get into the middle point range, those one-handed X-ups, knack-knacks, 60, 65 points, right up to the super-seater, 120 points. It's looking really good. And then you step up to the big guns. You've got the flip knack. You just talked about it. Robin Gooms went down on that. 140 points, or, as we said earlier, 1.4 seconds. Reduced off your time. That's a huge differential.
Oh, absolutely. And I actually talked to Robin yesterday, and she knows how fast these girls are out here, and she knows that she is the type of rider that excels in those tricks. So she wanted that flip knack to get a good qualification spot, to get a good matchup in the first round, and unfortunately she went down. But she's maxing out the trick list right there. So just putting it all on the line and giving everything she's got. All these girls are.
Couple of big scalps taken in qualifying, as we just said. Let's take a look at how that's affected the bracket. Vaea Verbeeck, reigning queen of Crankworx, currently 169 points ahead of anyone else in that race. She desperately needs a performance here. She's got a bye from her first run. Then we've got Caroline Buchanan going up against Ellie Chu, the local BMX Nitro Circus regular. Ronja Hill-Wright has got a bye, as has the new Red Bull alumni Harriet Burbage-Smith. But the name to keep an eye on this week that we've both identified, Caroline Buchanan, we've coined her as the disruptor. She's got no skin in the game for the queen of the Crankworx title, but she is such a strong rider, she could really mess things up.
Oh, Caroline is without a doubt the disruptor. She is so confident in every element of biking, obviously with the crazy good BMX racing background, and absolutely going off with the tricks as well. I was at Audi 9s where I saw her land a perfect front flip, the first ever women's mountain bike front flip on dirt. And she's just pushing it. She's pushing it with the tricks. She's motivated to keep it going and excel her riding more and more. So looking forward to see what she's got on course for us today. It's going to be rowdy.
So five-time world champ from four-cross and BMX, and she's also got the freestyle skills to go with it. We sat her down earlier on in the week just to hear from her about her strategy on her return to Crankworx. This is what she said.
I think this strategy is coming in with that confidence from the groundwork that I've done. I've come off a world's first front flip at the Audi 9s event over in Germany. That level is not even on the scoreboard right now of speed and style. So that is a max differential point. I don't think I'm going to have to pull it out here this week, but for me it's, doing what I know, doing what I've progressed on, and most of all, just getting back on the tour and enjoying the moment.
So a little glimpse here of what went down in qualifying. This was Caroline ejecting mid backflip. It felt like she had that, but she did it in practice yesterday, didn't she? Same thing.
Yeah, Caroline, when she did her first backflip in practice yesterday, she had a very similar type of bail where it seemed like the flip was going to come around, but she just got a little feeling in the air that it wasn't. And the awareness that it requires to bail out of a backflip when you feel like you're under rotating and make it out of that crash Clean is a skill in and of itself. And as you can see, she's just dusting herself off, putting the thumbs up, more angry than hurt after that backflip crash. So, like I said, she's a disruptor. She wants to beat these girls out here, and she's willing to do whatever it takes.
She's mischief on wheels this week, and that was a strut out of that slam. She was defying that landing. We can take a look now, though, at Robin Gooms. Not quite so lucky, because there was no bail. She fully committed to the first kicker.
Yeah, on Robin's crash, it was a bit of a different story. She really tried to hang on to that case. And let's take a look at the slow-mo replay here. This nice overhead shot here.
Full extension on the knack, but the front wheel just clips the lip.
Yeah, look, the flip knack, it's massive. She barely doesn't get the foot on. And then the hand comes off too, and she goes down hard on the shoulder. Definitely, she was upset about the crash, in a lot of pain, but she's a very, very tough rider, and it's just incredible to see her willing to do a trick like that in qualification, a flip with a variation. So sometimes with mountain biking, unfortunately, it hits back, and you have to have those crashes. And I'm sure Robin, whenever she comes back, she's going to come back stronger than ever because of that mindset that she has. She's just willing to do what it takes, and she wants to push the sport of women's freeride mountain biking.
Yeah, and after the year she had, this represented her homecoming. So that if she is out for the rest of the weekend, that is a tragic loss. Not just for Robin, but for all of us watching. That was going to be a spectacular show she would have put on. But we did catch up with her earlier in the week to talk about the year that she's had so far, all of those huge steps forward that she's made. It's a fascinating story.
Really cool what Mons did with Future Ground. They kind of put their money where their mouth was and just made an event happen, got the girls there, got the location, everything was in place, and it worked, and it worked well, and there was a whole lot of progression that went down that week. Kind of the reason I got the exposure I needed to go as far as I've now been. The energy of the other women was like absolutely rad. Like everyone's kind of, I guess, quite new to freeride because it hasn't been around long enough. Everyone's willing to throw down, push real hard, and get on that level and help each other get to that next level. I don't know if it sounds selfish, but it's still about like personal progression. I have a whole lot of stuff that I want to tick off and do, so I think the further I can take myself will push the boundaries of sport. Just to like inspire that next gen who are gonna start younger and push way harder. Red Bull Rampage is the dream, but don't use that. I mean, yeah, maybe we place that in the universe, put it out there to the world. I'm manifesting this for the women.
I love the fact that she's put that out there. Rampage for women. It's where we're headed, undoubtedly. That's the direction that at the moment women are pushing the sport in.
Yeah, it's amazing to see Robin dreaming big. Obviously, she's done a lot of things that girls thought was not possible in terms of the tricks, the flips. So it's good to see her dreaming big. And yeah, like you said, it's leading towards that direction of getting girls in those big events, potentially the slope events, things like Rampage. Yeah, we just want to see them keep pushing it because they are tough, they're motivated, and they are doing big moves.
We talked about it. We've got that the Dark Horse competition. You've got Formation. You've got Mons Royale Future Grounds down in Queenstown. These events are becoming more and more prevalent. You're seeing them pop up all over the world. And for me right now, I feel like the women's freeride movement is one of the most exciting areas in mountain biking.
Oh, it's extremely exciting because they're just pushing it so unexpectedly. And like you said, there's so many different events. I was able to see it firsthand at events like Audi 9s, Proving Grounds in Oregon. Massive jumps and just features which you can't mess up on and get out of clean. And these girls ride these features. They're not scared to hit them. They go down. They have these crashes. They get up. They're tough. It's amazing to see, and I really hope they keep pushing it. And girls like Robin, who are motivated and dreaming huge, are the ones that are going to be on the forefront of that women's freeride mountain bike movement.
Okay, I don't know if you can see it from where you're sat, but we have got a little bit of liquid sunshine dampening down the course. It's a light bit of rain, so we're on a course hold for the moment. It's definitely not catastrophic rain at this stage. It's I can see out of the back of the studio a nice bright sky behind us. So this is passing over. So we've got a little bit of a weather hold, but they are definitely showers, as we've put on the graphic there.
Yeah.
So hoping 4 or 5 minutes and we'll be able to get the course dried out. You said the dirt here in Rotorua is really unique.
Oh, the dirt here in Rotorua is unique. It's magical. And like you were saying, the dirt can get rained down on, and especially if the sun comes out or if we get a little breeze, these jumps start steaming with how fast they dry. So let's hope for a bit of sunshine and a bit of wind to come through and for this rain to pass over, because these riders are really going above and beyond today in practice, despite the conditions that they've had to make this racing happen. So it would be amazing to see them out there doing their thing.
Okay, Clif speed and style is all about bringing together those worlds of downhill and slope style, the kind of free ride element. And one of the women who's personified that over the last decade is undoubtedly Casey Brown. Clif have been supporting her as she's pushed women's free riding, attempting essentially to move the world, change that paradigm and shift people's attention into women's free riding. We sat down with her at the start of the week to talk a little bit more about what she's trying to do and what she's achieved so far.
And there you have it. That's the first backflip in competition for the ladies. There you have it. History being made.
Unbelievably smooth. Front tire in.
I've just seen so many women killing it this year. They're absolutely shredding, and it's amazing to watch. Like, I don't know, I'm so inspired by everyone around me here, and there's just like, everyone has their own unique style, and it's so cool to just, yeah, be part of it. There's been so many girls that have just popped out of the woodwork this year and last year. Robin Gooms is another one of my favorites.
Casey Brown is the name. Casey Crankworx can do so many things and do them so well and have fun with it.
The women's freeride progression has definitely had a fire lit under it recently. I would love to see the women within the next 5 years be able to ride the men's slope course. I would love to be the first girl to be able to get down that course, but I'd love for the progression to get to that level that we have a handful of girls eligible to compete at that level.
Well, as everyone knows, if you want to compete at your optimal level, you need decent nutrition in your body, and a Clif Bar has the perfect blend of protein, carbs and fat to give you a slow release energy all day. Certainly it's worked out for Casey Brown. Now, Nikolai, we've talked about the women there. There is an exciting bracket, but we've also got the men's side of the draw going down. The women will be in first, but you can see the men here. Thomas Lemoine absolutely thrashing that spin bike. He and the gentle giant, look at Tim Bringer there. This is who's gone through from qualifying, and there's some fascinating matchups, Nikolai.
Oh, these matchups are getting me so stoked right now, if I'm honest. Thomas Lemoine versus Max Fredriksson, a pure slope style battle. Lemoine, such a decorated guy in the sport of speed and style, so Fredriksson's gonna have to give it everything he's got. He's a fast guy who's done very well in pump track as well. Moving on, Matt Begg versus Tim Bringer.
This is a full David versus Goliath. Like, Matt Begg is he's a wee little thing, and then Tim Bringer, the gentle giant, absolute monster. That's going to be fascinating to watch.
Both of those riders, very unique personalities, very unique riding styles, always attacking the course and just going crazy with not only the riding but the tricks as well. So we're moving on. Bas van Steenbergen, one of the fastest guys on course, and then Tom Isted, a guy we saw absolutely doing some crazy maneuvers out there in qualification.
Well, we've got that Cork 720 that we can take a look at that he threw down. As you say, we've got one of the fastest riders in Bas van Steenbergen, and then you've got one of the most technical slope riders in Tom Isted. This is Alfie Stevens, fishtailing out of that double tail whip, and there was a bit of wind on course in qualification, wasn't there? To throw that down took some serious stump.
Risky maneuver right there with the tail whip in the wind, the double whip, barely not getting that back foot on. Now we're going to get to see the Cork 720 from Tom Isted. Look at this landing, pure money right there. Unbelievable execution by Tom Isted. He messed up on that trick in Innsbruck at Speed and Style, and it basically ruined his whole day. So it's amazing to see him landing it so perfect, knowing what he has to do to beat Bas in that first round.
Okay, so different trick differentials on the men's side of the draw. This is what you're looking at. So bar spin's 14 points, up to triple bar with a flip is 140 points. So that's in the back flip. 360 combos. You've got dump 3 at 70, right up to the double bar spin 3 at 133. That cork 7 that we just saw from Tom Isted, 140 points, which translates to 1.4 seconds. So you do that, and what did we see at the bottom from him? I think it was
just a cork flip down at the bottom, keeping it a bit safer because the riders have not gotten as much practice on that bottom jump. But Tom knows he's got double flips in his bag, he's got flip whips in his bag, all those tricks that are so dialed. He's just going to have to strategically decide what he's got to bring out to beat these fast guys on course.
But looking at that, they were perfectly done, 1.96 seconds per run. Tom Isted is getting deducted if he's doing those tricks perfectly.
Oh, that is a huge differential. Losing the race by 2 or 3 seconds is an incredibly significant margin. So if you can make that up with the tricks and also have a decent run speed-wise, you're looking pretty good for these races.
Well, I think Bas van Steenbergen is going to be nervous, not least because he's up against Thomas Lemoine there. I mean, Thomas's record in speed and style speaks for itself.
Yeah, his results in speed and style is unbelievable. The motivation that he has, you see every time he's racing, he's just giving it everything that he's got. He's got so much experience with the racing, and his tricks are so dialed. And he's got that strategy down too. And it's awesome to see the camaraderie between the riders. Fredriksson and Lemoine, a first-round matchup against each other, and they're just chilling in the athlete zone, joking around, I'm sure. So it's a good vibe between these riders, but it's also very competitive.
Okay, let's take a little look at Thomas Lemoine's strategy for speed and style.
I feel like the perfect balance in speed and style is for sure to have speed skills. So make sure you go as fast as you can. And for that, you're gonna have to do some tricks that don't make you lose too much time. So let's say like a front flip. Some guys do it pretty low and can even win some speed. But sometimes if you go very high, then you can lose some time. So you have to find some tricks you are comfortable to do because you have to do them maybe 10 times during the day and you can't really miss one. So you have to be comfortable on that and make sure it doesn't make you lose too much time. So find the good tricks, keep your speed. Staying focused is very important because it's like a little mistake can cost a lot too. So every part is pretty important from the top to the bottom in speed and style, let's say.
It brings up some fascinating points there. That idea that your trick selection is gonna impact your speed through the course.
Yeah, you can tell by that interview right there that it's not Thomas's first speed and style event. He knows exactly what needs to be done strategy-wise to win these races. He knows that you might have to do certain tricks so many times over the course of the day if you're getting to that final round. So he talks about the fact that you don't only have to choose the right tricks, but you have to do them in the right way to keep that speed up, keep yourself dialed, and get those right deductions, you know? And you can see in that interview, he's got the fire in his eyes.
Oh, he looked like a lion hunting a gazelle, didn't he? He was just kind of burning a hole in the cameraman. But he's, to be that calculated about this race, you've got to be that focused, haven't you, if you want to take this out?
Oh, you have to have that pure focus. And the focus combined with the motivation, combined with the skill and the experience now that Thomas has, it's almost impossible to beat him unless he makes a significant mistake.
Yeah, victory in Innsbruck 2020, victory here in 2020, then victory in Innsbruck 2021, and there was no speed and style in the BC series. So, yeah, the last 3 speed and styles he has taken out since we were here in 2020. He's making his way up to the course now. The rain has stopped, so that course is drying out quickly. Thomas is making his way up to the top there.
Yeah, awesome to see the rain hold off. Hopefully it stays that way. We've been very unlucky with the weather so far down here in Rotorua, but everyone involved, the volunteers, the riders, honestly everyone involved with the event is staying so optimistic and doing everything they can to make it happen, because this event means the world to all of us, you know?
Okay, let's take a look now. This is always in the background at Crankworx, is the battle for the king and queen. It's the road to royalty, as we like to call it. And it's one of the most, as we see there, it's one of the most difficult titles to win in mountain biking because you can't just be good at one thing. You've got to be the ultimate all-terrain rider. And it's not about being a jack of all trades. You've got to be the master of all of them as well.
Oh, the king and the queen of Crankworx is an unbelievably difficult thing to win. Like you said, you not only have to lay it all on the line and make it happen, you got to be consistent. You have to be consistently beating these other competitors who are also so consistent and willing to do whatever it takes to get these victories. Let's look at the point layout here. This is the one for the men.
Yeah, 100 points for first, 80 for second. So it's quite a tight stack of points there. 26 points for 10th. In the women's, 10th has 15th. You have fewer competitors, so you have a bigger gap between the scores. But we've got 3 events there, plus you've got the whip-off and you've got slope for the men. So there's big chances to make amends there, and we can take a look at the standings for the men and women at the moment. In the women's, this is so tight. Vaea Verbeeck currently 169 points ahead of Keilani Hines, and then just 40 points separating 4th to 2nd. Robin Gooms, we haven't had any confirmation of her injury status. She was still just in touch with the race in 5th, but it feels like it's a 4-person race at the moment. But Vaea Verbeeck, she didn't qualify in pump track, and that's blown this race wide open, it feels like, Nikolai.
Oh, absolutely. Vaea is very far ahead, as it seems, but after not qualifying in pump track, it leaves the door open for some of these other girls. Seems like Keilani chose not to ride the speed and style. Maybe a smart decision because of the practice was just so tough for all these ladies, seeing some of them go down in qualification. Casey is just out of MIQ, not sure if she's going to be here. And then Harriet as well. Also trying to get those points. So Vaea's up there, but she knows that there's other girls close to her in the hunt, so she's hungry for this event and stoked to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, if you're not au fait with New Zealand COVID terms, MIQ stands for Managed Isolation Quarantine. Everyone who's come from overseas has done 2 weeks in a hotel room to make sure that they're COVID safe for the event. And Casey's only finished yesterday, so she had tiny bit of time on the course. I actually didn't see her up. I don't know if she came in to do this event. She might be focusing more on downhill, getting the practice time up on that. But you can see there, Tim Bringer, or Bringer, I think you'd say in French. You asked him about pronunciation yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, I asked him this morning, actually, how he wants us to pronounce his name, and he literally, in classic Tim fashion, said, I don't care. I heard everything in my racing days from Bringer. He basically just said he's heard everything through all his years of BMX racing. Classic funny Tim response. So we can proper go French mode and say Timothée Bringer, but I think we're going to stick with Bringer, however much we feel. But he doesn't care. He's a happy guy. He also does a lot of rapping with Lemoine, so he actually prefers to be called Drubish. That is his rap name. So if he gets out on course, maybe that's what we'll refer to him as.
I like that, Drubish.
Drubish.
You can use that. You can see him just looking super relaxed, chatting with Max Fredriksson there. And the slow boys have got this is one thing that you noticed. You started, I saw you taking videos, really getting stuck into everyone while they're practicing. There are some massive differences in the bikes here because, as we said, this is kind of the downhill world colliding with the freeride world, and bike choices are hugely different.
Oh yeah, I was up on course, luckily getting to talk to a lot of the riders, focusing on their different bike setups. The biggest difference I found with the men was a guy like Connor McFarlane, who's on a big freeride bike setup. 2 brakes, two big forms of suspension, you know, beefy tires. But he says, you know what, that's the bike that I'm most comfortable on. I ride it the most, so I'm gonna stick on that. But a guy like Jaden Fleming, a guy who comes from BMX, he said he literally tried to find the shortest, smallest bike, as we can see in the shot right here, the Marin, with 1 brake, with the slick tires. A lot less control on course, but like we're saying, the riders are just trying to be as comfortable as they can on the bike on course, because confidence is key. Like Caroline talked about, like Thomas talked about, you got to be confident, you got to be focused, and you're going to do that on the bike where you feel most comfortable on.
Yeah, it's like comparing a hummingbird with an eagle. This thing is so agile and fast, isn't it? You watch Jaden Fleming ride this, and he's just chucking the bike around. It's so responsive. But then there's a real rolling speed to Connor McFarlane's bike on that 27.5. That said, I did have a little press on the saddle yesterday. I reckon he's got 150 PSI in that rear shock. It just didn't move. So, yeah, a very short wheelbase. It's really quick through the berms, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And we saw Jaden Fleming throwing some crazy maneuvers in practice. We won't give too many details, but that little bike allows for some absolutely chucking around, and he's moving down this course. McFarlane is too, But like we said, whatever bike you feel most comfortable on, you're going to have the most success, because this sport is not just about the speed, not just about the tricks, it's about having the perfect strategy to win. Oh, let's talk about Vaea's bike now. On to the female bikes.
Look at this one. The Rocky Mountain just chucked in the pines there. She's left it unattended, walking off into the woods.
Yeah, Vaea told me this is the same bike that she uses for slalom. She pumps up the suspension, she pumps up the tires a bit, but it is the same bike. It allows for a little more, I guess, mistake action, you know, because you got 2 brakes, you got suspension, and you can, you know, be a little more imperfect on the jumps. Yes, exactly, a little more forgiving. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Well, we can see the PSI there. That's relatively high. I mean, for downhill, you'd be running low to mid-20s and then crank that up for speed and style into the early 30s. Why more on the rear than the front?
Just so you don't get bucked off these jumps. These jumps, you're approaching them at very high speed, like we're talking about, not ideal speed, race speed. So if you have that suspension soft in the back, it's nice and plush, but you might get bucked right over on these jumps, which is absolutely the last thing you want. So Vaea, she seems to have her setup dialed. She knows what bike she needs, and she competes in a lot of different disciplines. It's tough to focus on so many different disciplines on different bike setups, so stoked to see her out here.
Okay, we can take a look now at Thomas Lemoine's suspension as well.
Yeah, guys like Thomas Lemoine, Tim Bringer, Max Fredriksson, Tom Isted, these guys are running full slopestyle setups. 215 PSI in the fork, the rebound half-half, also trick design. Honestly, not ideal gear ratios, as Isted talked about, so not that great in that sense, and not as forgiving with the hydraulic brakes as well. But just to mention again, this is the bikes that these guys feel most comfortable on. They're going to be chucking some crazy maneuvers on the slopestyle course in the next few days, so they're just trying to get comfortable out here on speed and style and stay with that same vibe.
You can see Tom Isted just talking to Tom Hay there. Two Toms, meeting of the minds. Tom built this course, he builds all Crankworx courses. Moved from York in 2003 in the north of England, ended up in Whistler, and before long he found himself building the Joyride course. And from there, he settled down in New Zealand, and he's actually made it his mission to start linking all of that incredible trail network around Queenstown together. And what he's building down there is something to behold. Like, New Zealand has given the world pineapple lumps, volcanoes, and incredible mountain bike trails. And I suppose the best measure of a country's terrain is the riders it produces, and we'll see it here. There's so many New Zealanders who've come out to ride here and ply their trade against the best in the world. Vaea Verbeeck, who we saw there, being one of them. I think Vaea's got a bye going through, but we'll see. Ellie Chu.
Yeah, you see Vaea in there. She's got that Queen of Crankworx mentality. It's raining, but she's there on her bike, doing the pedaling, keeping her legs warm. You know, she's hungry for this. She wants to defend that Queen of Crankworx title. So stoked to see that motivation, and she does have a bye, like you said, through the first round. But I'm sure there's going to be some tough racing in store for her in those later rounds.
Oh yeah, semis are going to be really, really tight. Good to see her with a smile on her face, actually. I did feel very, very nervous for her. She didn't look comfortable in practice this morning. She hadn't hit that last jump with confidence.
Well, I had a little conversation with her yesterday, and she said that she's just focusing so much on all the events that she has to do that with a speed and style course and tough conditions, it's hard to prepare, especially on jumps. She's obviously has mostly a race background, so not as comfortable on the jumps as, say, someone like Caroline Buchanan, but she's still stepping out of her comfort zone, doing tricks like tuck no-handers and stuff. So honestly, she's going out of her comfort zone, and it's hard to focus on all these different events at once, but she's doing the best she can and building that confidence. Also tough with the weather to build confidence because you don't get that much time on the course, but these racers doing everything they can to feel ready when they get into that start gate.
I love the look on Harriet Burbage-Smith's face. She looks like she could cut through concrete with that stare. She's like, I've got you. I'm going to take you. You see a little bit of wind still there, but the rain has dried up. You can see they've got the blowers out on the takeoff, and Vaea Verbeeck is going to be the first racer in. She's got a bye in the first race in the round of 8, so she's just got to come down through the course. You've got to do at least one of the races, so each rider will come through just so you get a time on the board. Even if you're not going up against someone, you've got to put a time on the board. So we'll see Vaea Verbeeck in for the first race. And then we've got a full matchup, which I think is going to be really interesting. Caroline Buchanan going up against Ellie Chu, and then we've got the two buys for Ronja Hill-Wright and Harriet Burbage-Smith. But let's take a look at where that can go potentially in the second round. I think, with no disrespect to Ellie Chu, Buchanan the favourite in that matchup, so that gives us a big, that is a big, big battle in terms of the Queen of Crankworx title if we see Buchanan versus Verbeeck.
Oh, absolutely. That would be a crazy battle. But as we saw in qualifications, Buchanan and Ellie are matched up because they actually both went down in their qualification runs. They were able to still make it to the end, but they both went down. So they have to make it through that first round matchup. But you never know. It's easy to make mistakes out here, which is why speed and style ends up being such an unpredictable sport, which is even more a testament to how crazy the consistency of a guy like Thomas Lemoine is. He's able to, in such an unpredictable discipline, be able to come out on top almost every time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's that calculation factor. Ellie Chu, though, going up against Caroline Buchanan, one of the most successful women in any kind of bike sport over the last decade. But Ellie's got her own story, and it is a fascinating one. She started out as a freestyle BMXer and then started moving into looking for qualification for the Tokyo Olympics, but kind of got through that process, decided maybe it wasn't for her, and instead went on the Nitro Circus. And I mean, the rest is history, Nikolai.
Look at this. Look at the perfection on the landing of a double backflip. That is a massive jump on a small BMX bike, and she just lays down the double flip. Absolutely money. I am beyond impressed. When I saw this clip, I was like, no way. And she throws tricks like front flips as well, so you know she's got that confidence in the air. We'll see if she has that confidence on the ground. She took a big slam in her qualification run, but was unfazed, getting right back on the bike and finishing the course. So she's got an awesome vibe about her, and let's see what she has to bring against these other racers. Against Buchanan in the first matchup, tough matchup.
It's a big, big one to kick off. But right now, we are in the start gate. The rain has abated. Liquid sunshine be gone. It is time for Vaea Verbeeck to open up Crankworx Rotorua 2021. A little bit of calisthenics there just to keep the blood flowing. We've already seen her spinning the pedals. So she's just got to put one run through. And this one, I tell you what, she's going to be thankful for this, Nikolai. Reigning Queen of Crankworx. She hasn't looked settled on this course yet.
It just started to blow on the bottom jump.
There you go.
You can see her talking a little bit about that wind on the bottom jump. It's very, very concerning because that jump is very exposed and the wind is pure side wind. So you can jump it perfect, but sometimes it'll just take the wheels out from under you, as we saw happen to some of the girls and guys in practice.
Manageable.
So we can hear Vaea in the start gate now.
She said manageable.
Yep. It's going to be a good practice run for her after a little bit of rain to get warmed up again and go.
She hasn't looked comfortable. I think this is a really valuable run for her because she hasn't looked comfortable on that last jump up until now. Elvis leg. Wow.
It's good, Vaea. All right, let's do it.
Okay. Good. Oh, here we go. We hear Vaea about to drop in. Here we go. The Clif Speed and Stop presented by Mons Royale. We're underway. First rider, Vaea Verbeeck.
Reigning Queen of Crankworx in the hunt for that title this week. Out of the gates.
See, she's got this tuck no-hander into the first one. A nice tuck no-hander into the first one. That is great to see. Moving through. Using this run, like we were talking about, as a practice to gain confidence on this course, even though she does not have to do that.
Already though, this looks, it's like she's got a race face on compared to practice. This looks so different to qualifying.
Oh, getting a little blown by the wind there, but luckily having perfect distance. Crossing the finish line there. Good to see her make it top to bottom and gain some confidence back. Getting 80 points for that tuck no-hander on the first one. That's great to see.
And you know what she did there? She used a different lane to the one that she'd used in her qualifying run as well, because I think there's just a little more exposure on that second jump to the wind. So getting that one out of the way as well will definitely help her.
As you can see on the second one, it seems to take these riders' wheels and just drift them a little bit to the right. So finishing with a time of 30.896 at the end after the trick deductions.
So it should only be one run for Vaea Verbeeck. She may want another practice run, but now back up to the top. We've just seen Ellie Chu out of Waikanae on the Kapiti Coast in New Zealand going up against that 5-time world champion First woman to front flip a mountain bike, Audi 9s earlier this year. One of the most successful women across BMX and mountain biking, Caroline Buchanan.
An absolutely electric matchup right here. Both riders very comfortable doing tricks. Let's see what they got for us racing.
Both away cleanly, but look at Buchanan. She's got the pace and the experience. Dives into that first bump. No backflip from Buchanan.
Both girls can backflip that jump, but choosing the safe option in this first run, a smart option by the girls. Buchanan way out front. Big BMX racing background, paying off right here. But Ellie taking it through, close behind. Let's see if she can clean this second jump. Oh, Caroline getting blown by the wind, and Ellie bailing again! This girl is unfazed by crashes. She's been going down several times today and just perfectly crashing every time. That Nitro Circus training paying off with the air awareness. Unfortunate to see, but glad to see her straight away back on the bike again, just like in qualification.
She absolutely boosted in qualification at the top of that. She's going so high. Buchanan scrubbed that perfectly, stayed low. But you have a maximum differential of 2 seconds. So it's still not out of Ellie Chu's reach at this stage. She's Ellie Chu on the right-hand lane there is very tentative through that berm. She had 2 nasty slams in practice this morning.
Yeah, and we saw both Caroline and Ellie in practice throwing down clean backflips, but today on a strange day of competition where mistakes are happening, they choose the safe option. And Ellie, a smart choice bailing there as her wheels were just getting taken out directly under her on that hardtail, which is getting blown around very easily in the wind opposed to a bigger, beefier bike. But both girls in good spirits down at the finish. Great to see.
So there you go, that differential when adjusted for tricks, 3.2 seconds. That is a big ask for Ellie Chu. Caroline Buchanan all but rubber stamped her place in the semi-finals. So now we've got another 2 buys. And our next racer is Ronja Hill-Wright, the Australian who came down to Crankworx in 2015.
Rotorua local says she loves it here, been living here since Crankworx in 2015. Like Ed said that jump scene and the mountain bike scene in general is just growing massively here down in Rotorua, which is awesome to hear and awesome to see her racing on her home track.
Rides a bit of everything. Took out the 30 to 39 bracket of the Gravity Enduro earlier in the year.
Going big on the jump, oh no, and going down hard. We hope Ronja is okay, and she's already up. Wow, these women are so tough. That was a massive crash, breaking the visor and everything. You don't need the visor anyway, Ronja. You don't need it.
There. She needs to put this one through the berms, otherwise she's back in for another run. Yes, she is, because she's not going to race anyone. But there we see again the Lookers left-hand course that we saw Vaea testing out in her first run is copping a lot of wind. That is a hard side of the course.
It's honestly very tough because Ronja did almost nothing wrong there. She goes off the jump perfectly, and in the second half of that air, look, it just starts taking her, and she tries to save it, hanging on for dear life, almost saving it. But look at the level of slant, just taking it to the head and the face, into the fence, and just hopping right back up. Wow, the toughness is just blowing me away. Obviously horrible to see a crash like that, but amazing to see Ronja tough, stand up, get back on her bike, and finish that run. Wow, what a beast. Now we have Harriet.
The slow-mo on that makes it look like a Tyson Fury left hook. That was a proper hit.
Huge, huge hit there.
Okay, I guarantee you Harriet Burbage-Smith had a big bowl of concrete for breakfast this morning. This woman is as tough as they come. Look how committed she is. This is a bye race in the round of 8. Already she's getting stuck in.
Just chilling over that first jump, looking clean on course. Look of determination right there. Just trying to use this as a nice practice lap and move on to the next one. Let's see if she can clean this next jump.
Really cool to watch her
she's on that
into that
right-hand lane.
Red Bull athlete.
Oh, very, very clean there, not getting taken by the wind. Great to see.
You were talking to a lot of the women earlier about technique on that, weren't you?
Yeah, because it seemed like every time they would hit it, crash or land, they would all get taken a little bit to the right. The wind was just taking their wheels. So I was kind of trying to give them advice to push through that kicker and maybe even kick out the bike a little bit to counteract that wind balance, because a lot of these girls, they can flip, they can spin, but not as easily as the guys, because for the guys it's easy to say, oh, just spin it, it's better in the wind. But for these girls, they have to figure out the speed for the jump, the air time in the jump. So just trying to give them some advice, because you never want to see the ladies go down like that, especially when they're pushing the sport as hard as they are.
Okay, that wraps up the women's bracket. We can take a quick look now at Tegan Cruz, one of the up-and-coming Canadian riders who really made a splash at the BC Series.
We're out here to have fun and just do some good racing. Definitely a pretty cool opportunity to be here with all these amazing riders to watch and learn from, and now I'm racing with them. So it's exciting for sure. Started racing BMX when I was really young, and then slowly my family transitioned into the more mountain side of things. Yeah, I started racing pump track, dual slalom, and downhill and everything, and it's cool to be able to do it all. Trying to focus on being more in knowledge of my bike and just knowing how the bike feels, and every time I ride, just riding down trails, pump track, dirt jumps, BMX track, in the back of my head just thinking about little things that I notice on my bike while I'm riding. But yeah, it's definitely a tricky one to think of when you're having fun going down track, but yeah, really working on it. Paired up against McKenna from the start, just after watching him race for so long at the World Cup. It's a cool thing to see. People were joking and saying that he could be my dad, and now I'm in the gate beside him. Yeah, I was hoping to shake things up a little bit. Got really tired throughout the day and just didn't have the endurance compared to those other guys. It's pretty wild for sure. Had a bunch of time to make up on Sick Mick there, and just an honor to be racing with him for sure, and all these top riders in the sport. We raced Psychosis, which was an 1,100 meter descent. Half hour, 40-minute shuttle up, so like not sure how to warm up and get ready for that style and not overthink it all. Some of us were like napping before a race run, which is a little funny, but it's pretty cool because you wake up, you get out of the truck, and then you drop into one of the steepest trails out there. I aired down 5 PSI on my fork just to help the hands as much as I could. Did put on the new SRAM rotors, definitely noticed the difference with those. I did notice it just a little more touchy, faster reacting, which was kind of nice, on off. Yeah, I think it's just more braking power. Helped me as much as I could. I'm riding dead dog anyway for how steep it is. Definitely got a bit of a dry throat now after Psychosis. Haven't really figured out how their formula is, but it seems like everyone's just not burning out. They're always got a full tank, always got some energy.
Tegan Cruz, I knew the name before I came, and it's the first time I've actually seen him riding, and he blows my mind for, what, 16 years old was he yesterday. The way he rides at the age of 16 is just incredible. So he'll be an exciting prospect for the future for Canada.
Just took a little spill in the second run there. Yeah, it's getting pretty slippery, and I just came into one turn a little hot and I boosted out of it into the other one and then just slid out from there. All good, yeah, but won't be moving on to round 8. I think I learned what I need to know for next time, and pretty honored to be able to ride and race that. Just thank you for having us here and racing. Lots of fun for sure. We'll definitely be coming back.
Little recap of Crankworx BC there through the eyes of the young up-and-comer Tegan Cruz, 16 years old, definitely going to see more of him. If you're just joining us, this is Crankworx Rotorua. We are at the Clif Speed and Style, presented by Mons Royale. Sat next to me in the booth is a man who's confounded modern medicine because he cannot distinguish the difference between fear and fun. It's Nikolai Rogatkin. Nikolai, what do you make of this bracket? This is the men's lineups.
Oh, I am so stoked for this bracket. So excited for this first matchup. Two of my best friends, Thomas Lemoine versus Max Fredriksson. Then we move into the New Zealand rider, electric rider, Begg versus the Hulk, Tim Bringer. And then we got one of the fastest guys on course, Bas van Steenbergen, versus a guy with some crazy tricks in his bag, Tom Isted. And then two guys that have done some real damage on this course in the past, Billy Meaclem and Joe Simpson. Here we are with the boys in the gate. Yes, boys, let's get this.
Clash of the slopestyle titans. Max Fredriksson up against Thomas Lemoine. Fredriksson with all the work to do here if you look at the form guide on paper, but a little bit slick. They're under starters orders. Anything can happen out there. And they're away, nice and clean. And Fredriksson with a half-decent start, but already...
Neck and neck out of the gate. Let's see what they've got. Oh, the double truck drivers in both directions. That looks amazing. I think Tom is throwing an extra X up in the end. Max falling behind, but he's good in the rollers. Let's see if he can make up some distance.
Well, he's got the outside on those first two turns, but he should be able to get the inside now.
Excited to see what they have for the second jump. A backflip with the maybe X up at the end. A big backflip from Fredriksson. Both riders looking for a variation, but not getting it. Charging to the finish line, Lemoine, and not far behind is Fredriksson. Let's see what the tricks give them, but that was an awesome matchup already for our first round.
The trick differential shouldn't change that too much because very similar tricks on both. If anything, the judges may give it a little bit to Fredriksson because you see, if you look at the height between the two of them, Fredriksson's still got the old slope pop.
But check this extra X up that Lemoine adds in, knowing what he has to do to beat his fellow competitor Max Fredriksson. It just looks amazing with the riders spinning in opposite directions like that.
So the judges are using these replays just as much as we are to make sure they haven't missed anything. Lemoine is a scientist on this course, isn't he?
His strategy, his knowledge of his fellow competitors is just second to none. Going for the tuck no-hander there, but still getting the X up at the end of that backflip. Just making adjustments on the fly.
And the apex here, Fredriksson is almost an entire bike's height above Lemoine there. Lemoine somehow keeping that flip low and long. So, with the trick differential, comes down to just over a second there. So Thomas Lemoine looking comfortable at the moment.
So yeah, just over a second, which is a lot when you're against Lemoine. So Max is gonna have to step it up heavy with the tricks in the second run if he wants to beat him, which is tough because Tom can step it up with his tricks as well. Next matchup, this one's gonna be good.
David versus Goliath. Begg out of Queenstown, the bike valet from Skyline going up against the giant of slopestyle, Timothy Bringer.
Tim with a good gate start there, out in front right now. 360 triple bar spin like it's nothing, wow. Matt with the big 360 and going down in the berm, no! No, I do not think I saw Begg make even one mistake. Oh my goodness!
Double down! Tim Bringer's got...
He snaps up the visor, he's keeping it going. Wow.
This isn't speed and style, it's wrestling. Tim Bringer stays out in front. If Begg gave up on that, he's going to be kicking himself.
I am almost speechless right now after seeing Matt go down, as the last thing I expect to see is Timothy going down as well. And Matt coming only 2 seconds behind at the end. Wow, I've never seen a speed and style race like that, I don't think.
More drama in this race than the season finale of Shortland Street. That's the New Zealand version of Days of Our Lives, if you're interested. That was unbelievable. Begg and Tim Bringer both going down in the berms. Bringer taking a breath now.
Look at the camaraderie between the riders. Tim looking like he's in a bit of pain there from that crash. Unusual to see from the Hulk. He's such a beast. Usually the ground isn't more in pain than he is when he goes down. Just barely having to... Oh, what a slam. The bike didn't take any of that. Begg literally took that with his whole body. Amazing to see him get up from that after. Nice overhead shot here.
And he was going for the cam 3, didn't quite get the extension. Oh, it's a body blow, isn't it? It's like he walked into a door.
Let's see if Bringer does a similar thing here. The same exact thing, just front wheel barely over the berm. These tight berms are very technical. I just love how Tim rips off the visor there, throws it to the side and keeps it going. Bleeding from the nose, what a warrior.
Look at Matt Begg as well. He's left a hole in that berm. Tom Hay and his team with some work to do. So Matt Begg, probably best known for that boost a couple of months back at Lismore Park in Wanaka. It was inhuman. He was stratospheric on those dirt jumps.
Crazy, completely crazy. Only 1.3 difference between those two guys for the second round. Let's see how they're feeling for that second matchup. This matchup right here is a very big difference between the skill set of these two riders. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
So the not quite yet anointed king of Crankworx, Bas van Steenbergen, going up against Tom Isted. Oh, and it's a slow start from Tom Isted. He's going to need everything he's got trick-wise.
Oh, throwing the catch roll! We saw the Cork 720 in practice, but the catchy! Oh my goodness! Maybe he's got the corky now for the second jump, knowing what he has to do to beat Bas, who's so fast.
Bas is out of control. He looks like lightning on the bottom section of the course, but he's just whipping.
A cork flip from Tom, seeing Bas only basically not doing any trick, but Bas charging down the line. Tom 2 seconds behind, but that cash roll and that cork flip at the end, it's going to be interesting to see
I think there's 2 seconds of differential in the tricks there. We know we're going to probably see 1.35 seconds, 135 points, 1.35 seconds for this cash roll. Wow. And then it's got to be in the 50 to 55 range for the... Yeah, this is going to be really close.
Well, I did not expect that cash roll from Tom Isted. I know he's very good at the cash rolls, but I've only seen him doing that Cork 720. Maybe he thought it was going to be faster to the cash roll because you roll forwards off the lip opposed to yanking, you know. No trick from Bas there. Tom seeing that and then just doing this nice cork flip, which he's got so unbelievably dialed. Let's see what the judges give him for points and what the difference is going into the second round. What a matchup there.
It's not an overstatement to say that Tom Isted had a catastrophic start there. If he can improve that start, this race is on. So it's going to change with the tricks. Minus 2.1. Oh, Tom Isted is leading.
That is amazing to see. Bas charging down the course, absolutely moving, crossing the line way ahead of Tom. But Tom with the cash roll and the cork flip ends up almost a second up on Bas, and Bas is going to really have to give it everything he's got and maybe go out of his comfort zone with the tricks. I don't know. Let's see.
A perfect example of how speed works against style. Tom Isted using all of his slopestyle pedigree to devastating effect against Bas van Steenbergen's pace. Now we've got, this is an absolute banger. The fins are up for Joe Simpson and Billy Meaclem. You saw the hands on the head there. Billy Meaclem, that up-and-coming style master. Joe Simpson, the king of Topor, absolute BMX master. He was the fairy tale story here in 2018. They're under stars orders and they're out.
Billy, previous winner of this event. Let's see if he's got that strategy dialed for today. Joe Simpson so dialed with that decade. Unbelievable. Every time just perfect to pedals. Billy moving ahead with speed. Billy is so dialed when it comes to each roller section. He's got his lines down, but Joe not too far behind. Let's see what these riders have into his second jump. Billy with a nice tabletop cork flip and a 360 table from Joe. These riders displaying some nice style in these maneuvers. Really crossing the line, and Joe 1.4 seconds behind, but let's see. That decade on that first jump is going to be huge. 126 points. Amazing. What do you think?
That is big, big. So great run. Joe Simpson foregoing the style on this first jump, foregoing the speed and putting all of his money on style. He's definitely got half a second there, so... But then that,
well, Billy with the truck driver, it's also good, especially if Billy, I've seen him do the 360 bar X in practice, the double combo 360 is going to match up pretty good against that decade.
Yeah, we've got, I mean, looking back, Tom Isted and Bas van Steenbergen, and the same here, we've got two very close matchups, which means everyone's going to have to throw their biggest tricks in these second runs, I think.
And I love the style displayed from both Joe and Billy on this second jump. Billy with the dip 360 table and then Joe with the 360 table. Let's see what the difference is after the tricks come in.
About half a second difference. So it's 0.9 behind for Joe Simpson.
So Joe makes up a little bit of time, but Billy wasn't lacking with the tricks there. The decade is nice, but Billy had it, good speed and some decent tricks there. Let's look at the bracket after these first matchups.
Yeah, so Lemoine, no surprises there. He's got the better of Fredriksson, but Matt Begg has got a bit of work to do behind Tim Bringer, but that one was so dramatic. And then Isted, very, very sharp on the tricks, has put Bas van Steenbergen firmly in his place, 0.8 seconds behind. Billy Meaclem got the better of Joe Simpson in that final bracket. Now we're going back up for the second run of women's in the round of 8. And because we only have to run one run for the women who've got a bye, we're only going to see Ellie Chu going up against Caroline Buchanan. And this one, very unweighted, full 2 seconds behind for Ellie Chu. And once the trick differential was in place, it was 3.2 seconds behind. So a lot of work to do for Ellie Chu.
I'm hoping to see some side-by-side flips here on this first jump, but I know these girls are playing it smart in today's action. Let's see what they've got.
A lot faster out of the gate for Ellie Chu. But Buchanan on the inside line there.
Ellie going for the flip and cleaning it. Awesome to see. Let's see if she can keep up with Caroline at least a little bit.
Now, there's a lot of pressure on Chu now, though, because she hasn't made it over this final jump.
I think Ellie's just got to flip this second jump. Let's see if she's on the same mentality.
She's on the more exposed side.
Yes! And she pulls it! Yes, that's going to be massive! No! Going down in the gates after 2 perfect backflips. But wow, she's such a trooper, getting right back on the bike. Oh my goodness. I was hoping to see that from Ellie, but I honestly did not think she was going to bring it out. That was rad. Perfect flips right there. Wow.
I mean, hats off to Ellie Chu. She could quite easily have said, conditions are hard, there's a bit of wind on this course. I've come off my bike 4 times this morning already. I don't need to do this. I've got nothing to prove. She comes out and lays it all on the line.
That was incredible. That was such a smart and sendy decision. With the big flip on this second jump. Casing a little bit, but perfect. And unfortunately, going down in the gates, but just getting right back on it. Amazing attitude from Ellie Chu. Honestly, a perfect run there from Caroline with a little knack on the second jump. She is fast, she is hungry, and we knew that. Ellie going down.
Oh, man, absolutely gutted for Ellie.
It seems like when she crashes, it's nothing. Like, she's unfazed by these slams. It's amazing to see. Hopefully we see more of Ellie Chu in future Speed and Style, because I think with a little work on the speed, she can be a real threat.
100%.
Good vibe with these girls. Big smiles in the Finnish crowd. Always great to see. Even after the crash that Caroline had in quali, after the crashes that Ellie's had, these girls are still smiling. They love being on their bike. It's so good to see.
Well, we had a lot of chat in the weather hold earlier on about tyre choices. Do you think that she was just too committed to the turn, or do you think a different tyre could have made the difference there?
Those flat corners are just so difficult, especially for someone like Ellie, who probably hasn't done too many races like that in her life. Seeing her ride those big nitro jumps, comfortable on the flips. Well, let's see how it comes in. 11 seconds behind for Ellie, so almost impossible to win, ending up 9 seconds behind.
Yeah, pulled down 1.4 seconds. So it was a big difference there. But Caroline Buchanan, first rider, well, and technically she's the 4th rider to book her place. Ingrid Chu up there, Ellie's mum, always the support crew, giving her a round of applause. She actually sold up her limoncello business and decided to make a big commitment to following Ellie around the world in her bid for qualification for the Tokyo Olympics. But that is confirmation of our bracket. Verbeeck Buchanan, big match up there, and then Rodney Hill-Wright going up against Harriet Burbage-Smith. I think we can see Queen of Crankworx coming to head already in that first matchup.
As we said, Caroline Buchanan, the disruptor, can disrupt Vaea's way to the Queen of Crankworx title, so it's going to be a really, really exciting matchup to watch.
Yeah, if Caroline is able to do that, then Harriet Burbage-Smith knows that up against Rodney Hill-Wright, she has got a shot at taking 100 points straight off Vaea Verbeeck. That is going to be a big, big challenge.
Oh yeah, and like we talked about earlier, there's never been a women's speed and style champion besides Geordie Scott. So we're going to have a new champion crowned today. So that's it's a big title to win.
Okay, we've got a new little segment coming up now that we've been running out. And if you follow Crankworx on any social channels, then you can join in with this throughout the week. This is our Crankworx hotline. Yeah, just go to the Crankworx website. And you can find your way through. There's so much detail on this site. You've obviously got all of the results. You've got all of the schedule in there. You can head over to the shop if you fancy getting your hands on some merch. You can buy all of this stuff. Very, very nice. You can get it muddy really, really quickly out on the trails. Well, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you can. You can get it really dusty if you're in the southern hemisphere. Now, though, it's time for the Crankworx hotline. I love this one. It's a little bit like the bat phone. Check this out.
Hey guys, so my question's for Nikolai. I was wondering why you're not competing in the speed and style today.
Ooh, so anyone can pose a question to anyone, and we'll do our best to answer it. This one's coming for you, Nikolai. What's the reason for this? Straight to the heart of the matter.
Oh, I know. Honestly, like I've tried to talk about so far, speed and style is very, very technical in the tricks. You know, you have to have the wrong speed coming into the jump and do the tricks in a certain way where you have to kind of stay low and, you know, keep that speed. And that's very, very technically difficult. I come from a BMX background, BMX skate park, and always tricks. And the goal of doing tricks is literally to have the perfect speed. Like, as long as you have the speed calculated correctly, that's what matters most in things like slopestyle. So with speed and style, you have to be at race speed, going way too fast into a trick jump, or like going way too fast and then slowing down right before. So it's very, very difficult. I've tried to compete in speed and style in the past, and I think I'm 0-5 in my matchups. Like, every time in the first round, I just get taken out. I'm doing cash rolls like Isted and double tail ups and stuff, but it's just not enough to make up that difference because I come into the jump with the speed I want, not the speed that I should be racing at. So, I mean, maybe I should try to get back into it. But that's the main reason right there.
Great question. Great answer. We're going to get straight back into the men's side of the draw now, and we've got the men's bracket to check out. We've had Lemoine dominating Fredriksson, Timbringer and Matt Begg. I feel like that one, there's 1.3 seconds there, but I still feel like that one could go either way. I'm not going to call that one at all.
I don't even know what to expect for that second matchup. That first matchup blew us away, so let's see what those boys got. Bringer looked to be a bit hurt after that one, so let's hope he's tough enough to get in the gate. I know he's the Hulk. Okay, we're getting into the matchup straight away.
Okay, we called it the clash of the slopestyle titans. Max Fredriksson, the Swede, so stylish, so experienced, but he's going up against the French Renaissance man, Thomas Lemoine. Put him on a bike in any competition, and he will dominate.
Fredriksson out in front a little bit right here. Oh, Thomas getting it back. Oh, Max throwing in a third bar spin there. Triple truck driver trying to get a little upper hand on Lemoine. Neck and neck through these rollers here.
Lemoine pulling up. Fredriksson not giving this one up easy, but Lemoine with the advantage into the last jump.
Backflip. Oh, backflip. Max definitely needed a variation there. Going huge. And Lemoine charging across, and Fredriksson crossing the line, knowing that today he has lost against Lemoine. An incredibly difficult first round.
Max Fredriksson was so deep on that second jump, landed right at the end of the landing, and I think he knew it.
Look at the slow-mo on this first one. Thomas Lemoine, 360 bar spin. Max Fredriksson, 360 bar spin. A second bar spin from both riders. And Max throwing in the third bar spin like it's nothing. Getting that upper hand with the quadruple combo, actually. And then neck and neck through these rollers, but just Lemoine just had a little more firepower in that matchup.
Lemoine's bike handling through these more technical sections is just immaculate. He can generate so much speed here. He came into that straight that we're looking back down now, at least 2 bike lengths behind, and he's come out a bike length in front.
Both riders flipping that second jump. Max knew he needed some sort of combo, so after landing that jump, especially deep, he knew it was basically day over for him. But Thomas Lemoine and Max Fredriksson are going to be out on the slopestyle course competing against each other once again this weekend, so another chance.
But you saw Max Fredriksson taking that beat. Yeah. So let's see it. We've seen it visually, but this is the judges' confirmation. 2.194 seconds ahead for Thomas Lemoine. Absolutely decimated Fredriksson in the first round, and his journey to the finals begins. Back up at the top, and we've got one of the most dramatic matchups that we saw in that first round of racing. It's the French slopestyler, Timothy Bringer, and he's going up against Matt Begg, that local.
Interview.
But we can go down now to the finish area where we've got the headphones and the mic on Thomas Lemoine. So, Thomas, a dominant display in that first round. You feeling comfortable out there?
I feel okay. I'm just back from knee surgery, so I'm still struggling a little bit with it, with the power in my leg. But I feel good on track. It's a bit gusty on second jump, so I'm going to try to go fast, stay focused until the end.
Yeah, Thomas, you are looking epic out there, absolutely cooking down this course. Awesome to see you take out the Swede, Max, in that first round, but you're potentially going to be matched up against one of your closest boys, Tim, in this next round. How are you feeling for the next matchup and for the rest of the day?
I hope it's going to make it this round, and if we race together, we both going to send it like we never been friends before and just be friends after the finish line.
That's what I love to hear, man. Hell yeah, I'm hoping for the same thing.
Thank you, Thomas. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you, guys.
So, absolutely consummate display there from Thomas Lemoine, looking so comfortable. Advances through to the semi-finals. First rider confirmed in there. But a really solid performance from Max Fredriksson. He can be really proud of that.
Oh, definitely. Max is definitely a very fast guy and a solid performance. Just a very tough matchup against Lemoine there. And I think we're on to the next competitors here.
Okay, so on the right-hand side of your screen, it is Matt Begg, the Southern Lakes legend, and he's going up against Timothy Bringer, the Frenchman slopestyle specialist, but both men going down in that first round. Will we get as much drama this time round? They're away. Bringer with a very quick start. No peak on his helmet after that slam.
And with his first jump, double truck driver for Tim. A nice dip 360 for Matt. Amazing to see Tim up after going down hard. Both guys going down hard, honestly. Tim out in front with the speed right now. Matt close behind. Oh, Tim pulling away heavy now. Let's see if we can get visuals of this second jump.
Tim's gone down in that penultimate berm.
What?
Tim Bringer's gone down, so Matt Begg just ghosting through to the finish here with the manual. Tim Bringer again going down in that turn, and he's bunny hopping his way through the gates at the finish. He knows that one's gone.
I thought that Tim was so far out in front that we couldn't even see him, but Tim is unfortunately gone down both times, and we are not going to get to see that electric matchup of Lemoine versus Bringer. Let's see what happened.
So he dives in, he's got the lead as they come into this first little technical straight. Lovely couple of tap down manuals there. And again, it's a carbon copy of the first slam. He goes in low and ends up high on the apex of the turn.
I cannot imagine the frustration going through Drubisch right now. Just the same mistake in both runs, but he's the type of guy that always keeps it positive, always laughs it off.
Drubisch taking a big mouthful of Rotorua dirt there, literally front-loading the full-face helmet there.
Honestly, I just hope those are the crashes that he gets out of the way before slopestyle. You know, eat the dirt a couple times and hopefully he cleans it up for slope day. But I was really looking forward to that Lemoine-Bringer matchup. But Matt Begg, stoked to see him move on that green P3 as well.
Oh, he rides so beautifully. The problem he's got is that he pops so much, he can't keep that forward momentum.
That's going to be tough against Lemoine, who strategizes this trick so much.
Yeah, 100%. So Matt Begg out on his own there, taking this one off the mistake from Tim Bringer. But the young Kiwi going up against the legend Lemoine in the semi-finals. He'll be pumped on that one.
And losing speed on that. So Tim,
it's too fun.
Little bit of bark missing on the nose of Tim Bringer there as well. Loving that.
Tim all smiles, even after going down.
You can see the difference in height there as well. Two more physically different men in the Crankworx matchups you'd struggle to find. Begg confirmed, goes through to the semis there, and he will face Thomas Lemoine. Back up to the top, and this one is so tight. You called it earlier, Nikolai. It's the speed of Bas versus the style of Isted. And in the first round, it was Isted out on top. Just heard through my headphones that Bas got the fastest time of the day, 27.49, and it wasn't enough. He's going to have to go even pacier, or he's got to find some tricks, Nikolai.
Yeah, that's crazy to see that Bas has the fastest time of the day, but he's still almost a second behind. Tom Isted just shows how much those big, risky tricks can pay off for these racers out here today.
Not going slow on track.
So,
okay,
Isted, it feels like he had a little more protection on the big tricks in the other lane. Let's see if he can make it work in this rider's right-hand lane. Oh, again, slow off the start. Van Steenbergen is just lightning.
Let's see what Tom has got into this first jump. What's the trick he's going to go for? Another capsule and going down! No!
And there you have it.
No, that just shows how the risk reward is here in speed and style. Isted, knowing he has to do a 720 rotation to beat Bas, but it's so risky that just a little bit off in the rotation and he goes down. Isted, a guy who's so dialed with cash rolls, can do twisters, but going down on that right-hand side jump, and a real bummer to see, but great showing. He had Bas, but the fast guy is going to move on this time.
Really interesting that we'd seen cork sevens all morning from Tom Isted, and he changed in the race. He made the decision he was going to go for cash rolls instead of cork sevens in the race. But Van Steenbergen's pace off the start is just phenomenal. Do you think the wind caught him on the second three?
I'm not sure, but with Isted, with the cash roll, you just see that he doesn't launch himself quite forward enough. With the cash rolls, you really have to throw that shoulder that you're rotating with forward at full speed, otherwise the rotation comes out weird. So Bas getting a nice knack there, but it just, those rotations, especially at race speed, when you don't have the right speed, you're not that comfortable on the jump, the rotations can just so easily go wrong. But good to see Isted, all good, up from the crash. Obviously bummed that he crashed that because of his dial and consistency with cash rolls, but
yeah,
he'll have another day.
A 101 class in risk versus reward there for Tom Isted. Bas van Steenbergen advances through to the next round. Who will he face? That is the big question.
Yep. I mean, Bas must have been a little nervous there against Isted because he's going for that King of Crankworx title, and if he gets taken out in that first round, it's not so good for him.
I mean, there's no one here, though, in the top five. You've got to say at the moment he's feeling pretty safe. It's all done bar the shouting as far as Bas is concerned. For these two, it's far from over, though. All to play for, just 9.97 seconds for Joe Simpson to make up Billy Meaclem. He's got the tricks and the speed, though. Formidable competitor.
The riders side by side. Let's see what they got to this first jump. Another dialed second from Joe, but just almost missing the bar. I'm not sure what Billy had, but look how dialed Billy is through this roller section. Perfect on his lines.
It's the danger of throwing a rotation, that drift across the landing.
Yep. Nice stylish tabletop maneuvers from both riders there. Amazing to see. Joe quite far behind here. And taking the loss there in good spirits. And it looks like Billy is going to be moving on, a former champion of this event.
Bas van Steenbergen watching this one very carefully. So great speed and great style from Billy Meaclem. It feels like he's the whole package there. Maybe a little bit too much pop, and as we said, he's just drifting around a bit, Joe Simpson.
Yeah, that decade is just such a risky move up the start. He has it so dialed, but it just had him a little offset in the berm. Look at this, the dip 360 table versus the normal 360 table. Just an absolute beautiful display of style from both of these New Zealand riders.
You could have had a spirit level on Joe Simpson's table. That one was Okay, so 3.5 seconds. Joe Simpson giving it up for Billy Meaclem there.
2.5 seconds back in the end. Great showing from both riders, and Billy is going to move on and further his quest to be a champion again on this course.
So Lemoine versus Matt Begg up top. That one looks a little uneven, but we've seen riders going down on this loose dirt. It's got a little bit wet, a little bit slippery, and it's far from given at this stage, but very, very even. I think the one to watch here, Heat 2, Bas van Steenbergen versus Billy Meaclem. That one is going to be tight, Nikolai.
Oh yeah, we've got some great racing coming up. We have 2 New Zealand guys in each matchup, so we are potentially in for a New Zealand final. It's going to be tough for Begg to beat Lemoine, but it's an unpredictable sport, student style, so I'm stoked to see what these matchups have to bring for us.
Okay, well, we've already talked about the fact that grip is a premium in these first couple of rounds. So we're going to take a look at the Maxxis tyre choices of Bas van Steenbergen and Caroline Buchanan.
Hey, I'm Caroline Buchanan.
Hey, I'm Bas van Steenbergen.
Hey guys, this is Vaea, and this is my Maxxis tire check for the Clif Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. It's my usual combo, Maxxis DHF in the front, DHR2 in the back.
On the front, I run a 2.2 Icon, and in the rear, I run a 2.1 Pace. The fast rolling of both tires is perfect for the speed elements. The reason I run a bit of a beefier tire in the front is purely for that security in the turns and making sure I can rip through them.
So in the front, we got a 27.5 tire. We're running the Minion DHF at 2.5, and I run about 33 to 35 PSI in that. And then in the back, we got a 26-inch wheel with the DHR2. It's 2.4, just so that it rolls a little bit faster.
The dirt on the Speed and Style track looks insane. The perfect combination of sandiness, the clay.
Yeah, the dirt here in Rotorua is pretty amazing, but it can actually be quite slippery when it's wet. So that's when you kind of lower the tire pressures a little bit, but when it's just dry and it's super grippy, so you can get away with some higher tire pressures here.
This is my ride, and this is my Maxxis tire check.
Fascinating. Buchanan, Van Steenbergen and Verbeeck all know exactly what they need to do here, and I think Baz hit the nail on the head. You lower those pressures because it can get slick. Verbeeck and Buchanan going head-to-head in the first of our semi-finals, and then we've got Ronja Hill-Wright going up against Harriet Burbage-Smith. The battle of the double barrels.
3 out of 4 Australians in this top 4 for the women's. So amazing to see the Australians coming out with firepower, making it into this final 4. This matchup is one that's going to be exciting. Vaea wants this one, and Caroline does too. So both of the girls are going to be bringing the heat.
Yeah, I think we're going to see, certainly we've got more confidence out of Buchanan at this stage, but that has tripped people up. Too much confidence and you can go down. Out of the gate very evenly, and Verbeeck giving a good account of herself.
Caroline pulling forward a little bit into the jump. A one-footer and a nice extended tuck no-hander from Vaea, one of her best ones I've seen all weekend. Girls neck and neck through the rollers. Buchanan pulling forward again. So much race skill on that small hardtail.
It's going to take a big trip here from Vaea to catch this up.
Oh, a knack and just cruising over that jump by Vaea. This is going to be a very close matchup. Essentially crossing the... Wow, look at the time difference. Barely anything.
9 thousandths of a second. Verbeeck did a phenomenal job on the back straight into the last jump there. And critically, I think we saw... I actually felt a gust of wind as they came over the second kicker.
Wow.
And I think Verbeeck in the most exposed lane there has done very, very well.
Now look at this one-footer from Buchanan and a nice tuck no-hander from Vaea. Definitely she's preferring that rider's right jump for those no-handers, clearly.
I think Vaea is, like, that was a lot more extension. The judges are going to pull a way bigger score there for Vaea.
And then a nicer knack. Oh, and Vaea got a little ET there, which I actually did not see when the race was happening. But both the girls tricking both jumps, so nice work.
You saw with Vaea's hand signals there as well. She just said, I was moving in the air. Definitely got shifted. So at the moment, Caroline behind, but let's see that trick differential go to work.
Puts her a little further behind, but look how close that is. 0.189. It's going to come down to whatever happens in run 2, and Caroline might have to step it up a little bit and go upside down because we know she can do it.
Okay, we can have a little chat after these replays with Vaea and find out how she went there. But this is what you were looking at, that big tuck no-hander. In qualification, it was half extension, if that, but she's really committed to that.
Oh, most definitely, getting the arms up. And actually a smart move from Caroline. She's taking the trick slow, but if she does 2 knack-knacks, she's going to get docked. So she kind of does like a 1-footer and then the knack-knack, so smart.
It's a masterclass in timing and control through the turns as well for Caroline.
Oh, without a doubt.
Little bit of a case there for Vaea as well. I hadn't spotted that. That makes that last section even more impressive. So Vaea Verbeeck, congratulations. A phenomenal work of catch-up there on the last straight.
Thank you. Yeah, flat corners are definitely where I can somehow get it back on the little hardtail bikes for sure.
And Vaea, I just want to ask you, which line, if one of them, do you prefer? Because you look more comfortable, especially on that first one with your tuck no-handers on that rider's right line. Talk to me a little bit about both lines and the difference between the two.
Yeah, I think it's kind of half and half. Like, I think the rider's right line on the top jump is actually friendlier in terms of like building speed before it. But then the bottom jump, I've only ridden a couple times on the right side because qualifying was on the left. And so now I'm going to be on the left side. I don't know, I'll just take it as it comes really, but it is tricky top and bottom.
Okay, thank you so much, Vaea. We're looking forward to seeing that second matchup.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Okay, back up to the top for the second matchup, and it's Ronja Hill-Wright going toe-to-toe with Harriet Burbidge-Smith. All Australian affair here. And I've got to say, on the strength of what I saw in terms of qualification and those first buys, this is going the way of Harriet Burbidge-Smith, but Ronja Hill-Wright looks really steady on the bike. I'd say she's way safer.
Hey, Haas pulling forward a little bit in this first straight. Getting a tire grab there. Nice, adding a trick. Ronja with nothing, but looking clean.
Yeah, Harriet Burbidge-Smith just working that technical section, pumping all of the speed. And now on that inside line, getting a couple of bikes length.
Both these girls trying to get this second jump clean. Yes, great to see them both landing clean. No tricks, but no crashes either.
Ronja Hill-Wright still very much in this.
Very, very close racing. Only 0.2 back. Harriet is going to get a bonus for doing the tire grab on the first jump. Not much, but pretty significant when Ronja is not tricking at all. But honestly, good speed from both girls and neck and neck racing there, really.
Well, we heard Vaea say before that this left-hand jump is nicer, but overall, I think you've got way less risk on that inside line. Less wind coming over that last quicker. So Harriet Burbidge-Smith, potentially she's got quarter of a second without the trick scores being accounted for, but it's far from comfortable going into the second round. This one is just like that matchup between Buchanan and Verbeeck, going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, Harriet with that look of determination in that Red Bull helmet. She's definitely riding better than ever, and it's sick to see, and it will be cool to see her in the final, but Ronja is close behind.
Ronja did so well. Cast your mind back to that first buy. She put her head through the fence on that one, and she's just shrugged that off. So here we go. Plus 3 seconds for Ronja. So it's 0.8 back. That's actually a considerable distance. I think Ronja's going to need something trick-wise. She's going to have to push if she wants to put Harriet Burbidge-Smith under pressure.
It's honestly, she might need it, but it's very tough, honestly, after, like you said, going down in that first round. But let's take a look back at these men's matchups.
Okay, so Thomas Lemoine, the thoroughbred of Clif Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale, going up against Matt Begg, the untested Southern Lakes rider. He's got all the pop, can he find the speed? And then it's Van Steenbergen going up against Billy Meaclem. But first up, Lemoine Begg. This is big news for Matt Begg.
Oh yeah, in the top 4 against pretty much the hardest matchup he could get. Let's see what he's got. Lemoine with the great gate start there, just charging out of the gate. Wow, Matt doing a big triple there over the rollers. 360 double bar and a nice stylish 360 table from Begg. Thomas Lemoine pulling significantly ahead.
It's a long way back for Matt, but you can hear the locals. He actually aired into the inside of that berm then. No pressure on Matt Begg here.
Oh, going huge with the flat spin 1Ken, almost blowing up, but keeping it together. Crossing the line, 1.6 behind Lemoine. Absolutely rowdy run, especially that last section there for Matt Begg. He is that type of rider though, giving it everything, every lap, practice, qualification, race, whatever.
Cheeky chuckle to finish from Matt Begg. Look at the start from Thomas Lemoine though. Lovely gap from Matt Begg, but 2 bike lengths already into that first jump.
Oh yeah, Thomas has mastered the gate start and he is on it with the lines. Look at this, 360 double bar spin. And Matt with the 360 toboggan to table. I didn't even see that toboggan in the first part of the racing, so a double combo there. Very stylish there from Matt Begg. And a big flip, and look at this. Holding on, whoa, just going huge.
He trusted in that back tire not to give way then, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Somehow
he's out of the camera
rim.
shot. He goes so huge, the camera doesn't even catch him. Whoa! Holding on for it. Electric rider, Matt Begg. Absolutely.
Chucking buckets of dirt out on that landing. Yeah, it's going to be a big game of catch-up for Matt Begg, but it's not over until you cross the finish line. So once the differential's taken into account, he's knocked it down a little bit, 1.5 seconds back. So still in contact, but it's a big ask.
That dip 360 with the Ken actually got Matt Begg some time back against Thomas Lemoine's straight backflip, so good to see that.
Okay, back up to the top, and it's Billy Meaclem in the red vest going up against Bas van Steenbergen. Fastest man down the track so far, but Bas does not have the tricks that Billy Meaclem does, so this one is going to be very, very even once the differential's taken into account.
Yeah, honestly, guys, watch how dialed both of these riders are. Oh, let's take a look at Billy Meaclem here. First place Mons Royale Speed and Style against Martin Soderstrom when basically nobody knew who he was. He came out here and got an emphatic victory. So he feels right at home on this course. He's won here before, and he's looking to do the same today. But I was just trying to say, look at how these riders ride the corners, ride the rollers. They're so on it, they're so dialed, and they're so fast. This is going to be amazing to watch, and I think Billy is fast, but I think he's going to have to bring some 360s with combos in them to make sure that he gets above Bas. But let's see what happens. Riders are in the gate.
Yeah, Billy will have watched what Tom Isted did. He knows that this one's there for the taking if he can consistently trick. Under starter's orders. Long random wait there under the start gate, and already Bas has got a lead.
360 bar spin to X up there. Great to see from Billy, but Bas is on it. He's out front, but look at Billy through these rollers. Look at both of these guys through these rollers. Just cooking.
Lovely work there by Billy Meaclem to stay in touch with Bas van Steenbergen.
Nice knack-knack. Flip table there, very stylish from Billy. These riders are pretty close. Billy crossing the line, almost a second behind Bas, but let's see where the tricks put them. Amazing racing there, mistake-free racing.
On my rough scorecard, I've penciled in just under a second and a half there. So I think Billy's got this one. I think he's going to be around 0.3 of a second up.
The toboggan versus the 360 bar spin to X up, that's going to be huge for Billy Meaclem. Good to see him get that X up after the bar spin now, after he struggled to get it in previous rounds. And then again, the knack-knack here from Bas, very stylish, but nothing compared to Billy's dip 360 tabletop. A nice slow-mo from the back. Oh, look at the scrub there by Bas.
He crushed that pop, didn't he?
And then, oh my goodness, Billy taking off from absolutely the edge of the kicker, putting savage carve into this rotation. So stylish, and then somehow just landing perfectly straight coming out of that.
There you go, look how low Bas is. Then almost double his height, Billy Meaclem, just to make sure he had room for that trick. So was I right? I said 0.3 of a second up.
Just
Way out, he's absolutely killed it. He's put Bas van Steenbergen in his place, nearly a second back for Bas. Billy Meaclem looking very, very comfortable. Bas van Steenbergen's got to find something. As long as if Billy can stay consistent.
It is crazy how Bas is putting in the best times of the day, and Billy has over almost a second on him after that first matchup.
Yeah, you can't just be fast. Vaea Verbeeck going up against Caroline Buchanan, Ronja Hill-Wright against Harriet Burbage-Smith for the last time. And it's all to play for between Verbeeck and Buchanan. Feels like there's a little more distance between Ronja Hill-Wright and Harriet Burbage-Smith, but one trick from Ronja Hill-Wright and it could even things up. Right now though, this one is going to come down to the wire. Buchanan, Verbeeck. And this one could, it's early days, but it could very well have a big hand to play in the Queen of Crankworx title as they race into the first corner.
And here come both girls. Let's see if they've got it. Yes, Caroline going
And the spike hit Vaea Verbeeck. Vaea's taking a look back to check she's all right.
Caroline sounds like she's very badly knocked the wind. Getting the flip, overcompensating.
Wow. Absolutely huge. The medics are there straight away. Caroline is getting the best medical attention right now. As soon as we have any information on that, we will bring it to you. But the bike flicking out, she ejected the bike and it came across the lane as Vaea Verbeeck was entering that first turn. And the front wheel clipped her peak. Luckily it didn't make full contact with Vaea.
Yeah, great sportsmanship there by Vaea. The bike did hit her, but she still stopped and immediately is going over to check if Caroline's okay. Caroline's so unfortunate to see under-rotating some of her flips this weekend and just making sure she gets the pull off the lip, but just giving it too much of a yank. And like we're talking about in speed and style, you come into the jump doing tricks not exactly the way you want to do them, not with the exact speed you want to do them, and especially when you have mistakes in the previous rounds, you try to make up for it. So Caroline with a smart move, making sure she gets the pull for the flip so she doesn't under-rotate again, but unfortunately over-rotating and landing hard on her back. Hopefully she's okay, and it sounded like she had the wind knocked out of her, but she is very, very tough. So
Ellie and Ingrid Chua there, you can see her just sitting up, talking to the medics. Vaea was smiling there as well, which hopefully is a good sign. There's so many checks we run through now as well. Alongside obviously all of the physical checks, there's the concussion checks as well, because these days you know that it doesn't necessarily take a full head knock. A solid whiplash can do it.
That's awesome to see Caroline up on her feet again. Definitely looking like she's in a bit of pain right there. I'm sure she's also pretty angry because those flips are so dialed for her. So to make two mistakes is such a bummer. Just knowing what she has to do, knowing that she had to go upside down to win that race and being willing to do so even after the crashes and the mistakes. It's unfortunate to see that over-rotation, but we know that we're going to see Caroline back and pushing harder than ever.
One of my favorite things about watching the women this week has been the confidence with which Caroline's attacked all of the courses. We saw it on pump track in qualification and we've seen it here in speed and style. She's been mischief on wheels, just smiling, enjoying herself, absolutely brimming with confidence. To see her cut down like that is so cruel. We can take a look at the replay now that we see her up on her feet. Talk us through this, Nikolai. What do you think happened?
So Caroline was definitely worried about under-rotating this flip. So she pulls, she gets a great pull. Vaea with a nice extension on the no-hander there, but right here she sees that she's way over-rotating, and unfortunately, the bike doesn't even take any of it, and she just takes everything, and wow, the bike absolutely smokes Vaea. She's able to stay on, but that is unbelievable to see. And wow, that looked extremely painful for Caroline, but we know she's tough and she's back up and ready to go.
Incredible to see her squatting like that, because it looked like maybe it was all the pressure through her back, like back and knees.
It must have been, it must have been.
Oh, disappointment for Caroline Buchanan there. I mean, she's got two-time Olympian, five-time world champion. Vaea Verbeeck carries on down there. Now that is sportsmanship. Vaea coasting through. This is literally a formality just to cross the line to make sure that she finishes that lap so that she has a final score. She'll progress through to the finals.
It's really crazy to see for Vaea, I'm sure, seeing so many of her fellow competitors go down, and she's just trucking through these rounds. Just shows the consistency of a former queen of Crankworx as well.
Yeah. Reigning queen of Crankworx. That is a huge, huge victory there. It's not the finals, but putting Caroline Buchanan out there. Obviously, she's not happy about the way that it happened. You never want to see a fellow competitor go down like that. But it does mean that she's made a final, and that puts potential. I think it's going to be a minimum of 80 points in Vaea Verbeeck's Queen of Crankworx account at the first event here at Crankworx Rotorua. So
Vaea's definitely very hyped on that. Caroline, we will see if she's okay to go for that bronze medal matchup. Let's see.
Yeah, Caroline less hyped, I think it would be fair to say.
Yes.
But second semi-final now, back up to the top. Harriet Burbage-Smith is leading right now. 0.8 seconds ahead of Ronja Hill-Wright. But if Ronja can add just a couple of small tricks into her run here, then it could be a different story at the end.
Yeah, let's see what Harriet's got coming on this first jump. A tire grab again. Ronja not doing any trick, but keeping it clean. Seems to be far out here and destined for the final, but she just can't make any mistakes before the end.
Harriet Burbage-Smith growing in confidence on this course with every run.
Both ladies cleaning the second run. And Ronja actually pulling ahead here a little bit. Wow, making up the time. Both ladies crashing. Wow, look at the difference again in the time. Very, very close racing. And that one tire grab right there actually helps out Harriet so much in the end.
Yeah, it's incredible that Ronja hasn't been able, just a small one-hander, maybe an ET, just something that gives her a couple of points. Like the lowest scores you're getting there are kind of, you can get a 10th, a 20th of a second off.
Honestly, I mean, it seems like it's so easy to just take a hand off or a foot off, but after the type of crash that Ronja had, absolutely smashing down, it's amazing to even see her up and riding. Not to mention doing tricks, but yeah, it seems easy, but the mental game, also the conditions out here, clearly with the flags in the back, you can see that it's windy, but these riders are pushing through and doing the best they can to win these races.
Okay, so Harriet Burbage-Smith there, just waving to Vaea Verbeeck. I think she knows that she might be meeting her in the final. See this, we'll wait for judges' confirmation though.
Yeah. I barely made that last one. Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to freaking turn into it as much as I can.
You can hear the girls talk a little bit about the windy conditions there.
So, confirmation from the judges, once they've worked out the trick differentials, 1.245 seconds. The difference between Ronja Hill-Wright and Harriet Burbage-Smith. So, Burbage-Smith will face off against the reigning queen of Crankworx, Vaea Verbeeck, in the final. Now we go back up to the top of the men's draw. So, men's semi-final. Matt Begg out of Queenstown going up against Thomas Lemoine. Matt Begg grew up in Ashburton, Central South Island. Made his way down to Queenstown, where he's one of the bike valets on the Queenstown Skyline gondola. Park rat. Does a little bit of racing, hits up those downhill trails. Thomas Lemoine, the ultimate all-rounder, the all-terrain vehicle. World-class slope rider, but he's got those pump track, dual slalom and speed and style smarts, and he puts them to good use on the first jump. Full ejector seat from Matt Begg.
Basically missing the whole landing there and bailing. Huge smash down, and Thomas Lemoine sees that he has no opponent beside him, so he's just going to cruise to the finish. But wow, Matt went massive on that first one. And I'm not sure what happened in that 360 that made him have to bail. I guess we're gonna have to see on these slow-mo replays.
I think
good to see Matt up and finishing the course. He's such a savage rider. Still doing a very stylish cork flip tabletop. Manualing through that finish gate. 15 seconds back, but in good spirits. All smiles today for Matt Begg. Huge crash there.
I reckon I actually felt, on this first one, I felt a gust of wind come through just as he did this. Thomas goes long and low. And Matt's so high, if that caught him, it sent him to the end of the landing.
So I know exactly what happened with Matt here, unfortunately. Matt was doing this 360 bar spin to 1 foot can in practice, and as soon as he catches that bar, he takes that leg off and tries to put it over the frame. It seemed right there he already was taking the leg off before catching the bar, and that completely destroyed the whole thing, and he had no choice but to bail. But still, getting up, getting that cork flip table in the end, and crossing the finish line with a smile on his face. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of Matt Begg in speed and style, in Crankworx, and in the mountain bike world in general.
That was brilliant analysis. You should be a commentator. So Thomas Lemoine looking pretty relaxed with that one. Another day at the office for him. He's cracked off at semi, which means he books his place in the finals.
Thomas Lemoine, this is only the beginning of his mission, you know. He's destined for the finals and he wants to win that final, so.
2 thumbs up from Matt Begg. He knows he's had a good run there, but it would have been a big ask to take down the king of speed and style. So we've got Baz's tyre choice. He's on those Maxxis. He's got the Mini and DF on the front and the DHR2 on the back. So higher rolling speed on the front, bit more grip on the front, rolling speed on the back, but still got a lot of tyre pressure in there for what he admitted is a wet track.
Says this dirt can be very wet if it's slick. Let's see what these riders have. A crazy matchup right here.
Bas under the pump, nearly a second off the pace behind Billy Meaclem.
Bas looking fast in the start.
Beautiful tap down manual from Billy Meaclem.
Billy dialed, getting that 360 bar spin to X up again, knowing what he needs to do against the fastest guy on track, Bas van Steenbergen. Dialed through the rollers. These guys are just on it. Pedaling in every section that he can. Bas getting another steezy knack. A low cork flip tabletop there. Very strategic by Billy Meaclem, and only crossing the finish line, less than a second behind. So I'm pretty sure Billy's going to be moving on there because very strategic.
Hold the front page. Billy Meaclem is exactly the same amount behind Bas as Bas was behind Billy when they started that race. 0.903.
Wow.
That was fortuitous.
That is crazy.
But Bas is so low on these jumps, and you see Billy, you said it straight away. Billy boosted really high on that one, but when they come into this final jump, Bas is scrubbing.
What you can see in the earlier rounds, though, Billy was boosting that a lot more. Obviously, you can get more steez out of it when you boost. Look at the times of the day. Bas van Steenbergen not allowing anyone else in the top 5 of that board. But Billy, knowing what he has to do, going a little bit lower on that cork flip tabletop to gain even more speed and barely cross the finish line behind Bas van Steenbergen. So strategic racing here by Billy Meaclem, and honestly unbelievable speed here from Bas van Steenbergen. So big up to both of these riders.
Well, Billy Meaclem proving that if you've got style and consistency, yes, 1.865 seconds back for Bas van Steenbergen. Billy Meaclem will go through.
Oh, yes. We have got a battle of the champions coming up. Billy versus Thomas Lemoine. An electric final awaits.
Well, it feels like potentially Billy's got the tricks to go for Tom. He's got a lot of pop on that first jump, but the second jump, he's got that one low, just like Thomas Lemoine.
Oh, definitely. And honestly, I got to give a little insight from Thomas. Thomas was talking in the hotel about how consistent and dialed Billy is here in Rotorua this whole time. He was racing against him on pump track, and he was saying, Billy, this guy don't even make one mistake. Every single lap, he do everything perfect. Just talking about how dialed Billy is with the speed and with the roller sections and just how on it he is. So Billy's on it, and Thomas knows he's going to have to be on it for this final matchup. So stoked to see that.
Billy, fantastic racing there. How hard was it to sit behind someone as fast as Bas van Steenbergen in each of those races and have the confidence that your tricks were going to pay off?
Yeah, he's definitely pretty stressful to come up against because he's straight out the gate and all of a sudden in front, you're pretty much just on his tail the whole way. Yeah, you got to try to link a couple tricks in and see if it pays off.
Yeah, Billy, you're matched up against Thomas Lemoine. Both of you guys are previous winners of this event. Can you tell us a little bit about your strategy for this finals and how you're feeling going to this finals? You must be stoked.
Yeah, I'm just having so much fun. The course is really fun and just enjoy doing jumps, and the pumps work out pretty sweet as well.
Sweet. Well, good luck in the finals, man. And get it. It's your home turf. Get after it.
Thanks, mate. Let's get it.
Okay, that was Billy Meaclem there. He's confirmed his spot in the finals going up against Thomas Lemoine. Matt Begg will go up against Bas van Steenbergen. Two more different riders I don't think you could find in this lineup. Matt Begg boosting so high, relying on his tricks. Bas van Steenbergen, literally a drag racer from start to finish. But you said it, that's going to be so tight. And I feel like Billy Meaclem, that cork 3 he's got on the last jump there, it's really long and low. He's got the same kind of style as Thomas on that jump.
Definitely, yeah. And Thomas has been doing more straight backflip on that jump. He's going to have to throw in a combo to make sure he has an upper hand on Billy.
Okay, we're going back up to the top now where Ronja Hill-Wright, unfortunately, is going to race on her own. Caroline Buchanan opting not to go in this third place matchup. So Ronja Hill-Wright will take one run down through the course, but it will secure one of Rotorua's finest her place on the podium. So a victory lap of sorts for Ronja Hill-Wright.
Yeah, like you said, Ed, it's quite a bummer to see Caroline not in this bronze medal matchup. She's had a rough day a little bit today with the crashes. Glad to see that she's relatively okay. Unfortunately, not in the bronze medal matchup, but also, like you said, this must be an unreal moment for Ronja, moving to Rotorua after the first Crankworx in Rotorua, her hometown, and cruising down for a podium finish. Oh my goodness! Almost going down again, but holding it together. Ronja really... Well, yeah, like I said, she must be stoked. I mean, she's had a rough day with a huge crash, but she's coming down in a bronze medal position, and she's going to get to stand on the Crankworx podium. A memorable moment for her, without a doubt. The bronze medalist.
She held on to that one. I've got to say, like, that third place for her is a testament to the courage she showed today.
Most definitely. Going down like that and just getting up and just beasting her way through the next rounds and ending up on the podium is all worth it in the end.
Yeah, you can see Caroline Buchanan there just on the inside of that first berm. Looks like she's stretching out her back and her knees there.
Luckily, it seems like she's laughing a bit, got a smile on her face, in good spirits, even after some big slams.
Okay, so the men's bracket, we've got the bronze medal round here for Matt Begg and Bas van Steenbergen. Hopefully Bas has managed to get up there in time. Quick turnaround for him, he might still be out of breath. But I love the fact that Bas is out there racing and he's got these phenomenally quick times, but it's a testament to the fact that the speed and style format works, that you can't come out and just be fast.
Yeah, I mean, in one way, yes, but in another way, Bas van Steenbergen is in this bronze medal round, despite the fact that he basically has not done any big sandy tricks. So he's getting that speed to live on. But yes, the format does work that the tricks, if you risk it, it sometimes pays off huge. But then again, the first matchup, Tom Isted had Bas van Steenbergen basically out and crashed because of those risky maneuvers. So it's a crazy, unpredictable strategic game out here in speed and style.
Well, we can take a look now. Bas is guaranteed at least a 4th place, so it's a minimum of 50 points in his quest for the King of Crankworx title. But you've got to say, he could potentially get 60, but right now, it's all done bar the shouting in the men's battle for the crown, because Bas has laid such incredible foundations, first at Innsbruck and then in British Columbia.
Oh yeah. I mean, the King of Crankworx, like we talked about earlier, is one of the most difficult things to win. You have to display unbelievable consistency and be able to beat these other competitors which are so hungry to take your spot. So yeah.
Yeah, and he's going to be like swinging his leg over the big bike for the downhill in around 2 hours time. So there's the standings. You've got Jackson, Frew, Breeden, Mick Hanna and Bensing, all like they're not even that close, but none of them here. Like this is Bas's to take home. Matt Begg though could have his say. Can he make a Crankworx podium here at his first ever Crankworx? Cinderella story at stake for Matt Begg as Bas van Steenbergen blasts out of the gate.
With a nice cork dip spin table there for Matt Begg, staying decently close to Bas.
Matt Begg still in touch with this one.
Bas just ripping those burns, pedaling in every single moment that he can. The classic knack-knack, scrubbing everything he can here. A big 360 can from Matt Begg, cleaning it up this time, not rowdy at all. Manualing over, just having so much fun out there on course. 2 seconds back, but he's most definitely going to get a decent amount of time back for those maneuvers.
Yeah, I think on the trick differential, we're going to see like somewhere between 1.5, 1.8 seconds potentially knocked down. He can get back in touch with Bas van Steenbergen here.
Oh, definitely. Look at the way he goes through those first rollers, just maximizing the speed, blasting the jump with the nice steez there.
He's got that
another slow-mo here.
beautifully tweaked
Small
up.
T-bog from Bas, just maximizing that speed. And look, Matt lands a bit outside, but he's able to get in. And look at this second jump. Nice knack from Bas, also maximizing the speed again. And then Matt comes in blasting with the spin can. Perfect that time. We've seen him over-rotating before, but that was money.
It was the opposite of racing though, wasn't it? It was all air time. There was nothing low and fast about that.
Yeah, Matt just loves blasting these jumps too much. He can't help it.
Yeah. You can take the boy out of the trails, but you can't take the trails out of the boy. If you haven't seen it yet, go and watch Matt Begg's destruction of Lismore trails in Wanaka.
Okay, the score's coming in, the time's coming in.
Just 2.9 seconds back. Look at that. He's picked up 1.7 seconds with those tricks.
So the speed is paying off for Bas in this round, but Matt is very close behind. If he can do those same tricks, but maybe boost them a little less and be a little more on it with the speed, I think he can take Bas for this bronze medal.
That would be a fairy tale story for Matt Begg. Now it is finals time.
The finals.
Reigning queen of Crankworx, Vaea Verbeeck, is going up against one of her major challengers, Harriet Burbage-Smith. And this one is going to be so tight. Both of these riders very tidy on this course. And look at that, Burbage-Smith means business.
Both of these girls mean business. Let's see if they step it up with the tricks and with the speed for this matchup.
Out of the start gate cleanly, Vaea Verbeeck a little bit faster. Coming into the first turn, the berm gives Burbage-Smith the cycle.
Both going for the tuck no-hander. I have not seen Haz do the tuck no-hander yet today, and she pulls it out to be perfectly matched up with Vaea. Vaea pulling out a bit in front, but Haz is not far behind.
Harriet Burbage-Smith a little more confidence down the bottom here on this last jump, I think.
Oh no! Vaea going down, I hope she's okay.
Picks herself up, walking it off.
Haz crossing the finish line, but looking back, concerned for her fellow competitor, Vaea. This is obviously huge for these Queen of Crankworx standings, but the sportsmanship between these athletes, they care so much about each other. Vaea is up and good, seeming more angry than hurt right now. Look at that look of determination. She knows that there's still a chance for her to take it in this second run.
Round of applause.
A smile on her face. That's amazing to see. Sucks to see her go down, that's for sure. Let's look at this race again.
Very even through this first jump. The tuck no-handers.
Wow. Haz almost taking the hands off before even tucking it in. And Vaea getting another great extended tuck no-hander.
Look at the angles that Vaea had there. Technically, she was faster down the straight. She'd left Harriet Burbage-Smith almost for dust. And I think she can take solace from that. That if she can keep this tyres down for the second run, then she's got a chance to pull this back.
Oh, most definitely. Hopefully we get a look at what went wrong here for Vaea. Okay, into this second jump, which has been giving riders issues most of the day. She goes for the ET and then gets bucked to the side. Wow, just absolutely slamming with her face down on the dirt. So tough to get out of that, honestly.
Both riders getting blown a little bit there. They both had, like, the tyre comes out to the rider's left-hand side there, and then they swing across to the right as they land. You saw the same. Harriet Burbage-Smith cut right across the landing. Yeah. If Vaea had landed, they would have been very close together. Good to see Vaea Verbeeck smiling. A lot of work to do in the second run of this women's final. A real cliffhanger here. Not just in the final of the Clif speed and style, but also in the battle for the Queen of Crankworx. Harriet Burbage-Smith, one of the riders who's still very much in touch with Vaea Verbeeck.
Against Kara, I was starting to think, like, do I try?
So 2 second the maximum differential that you can get if you slam. Let's see where the tricks play into this.
So Vaea ends up 3 seconds behind. It's pretty far back. She's almost gonna have to not hope, but Harriet's going to have to make a mistake for her to win,
It's going to take a lot of work. Okay, men's final up at the top. Billy Meaclem up against Thomas Lemoine. Meaclem on the right-hand side of your screen. Thomas Lemoine unbeaten in the last 3 Clif speed and style races. Presented by Mons Royale. This is going to come down to the wire. Both of them very, very clean.
Riders out of the gate. Let's see what they have coming into this first jump. Oh my goodness, pinning it through those rollers. Wow, that looks amazing. I think both of them doing a 360 double. Thomas Lemoine going down in the same berm that has taken out some other competitors today. Wow.
One of the most consistent, immaculate riders in speed and style has gone down in the first run.
And as I've been saying, speed and style is just such an unpredictable sport. Stuff like that can happen even to the most consistent, dialed, experienced riders in this sport. Thomas Lemoine obviously very pissed right now, absolutely destroying that berm, but he's still manualing like it's nothing. I'm sure Billy is stoked to see that, but also not stoked to see his fellow competitor go down. And let's see if they both match up in this second matchup again. Never know.
We saw Matt Begg body jar in that exact same spot of the berm. And I know it had been patched up, but you've got to wonder if there was some loose dirt there from that previous hack.
Let's see what happened here. Okay, 360 double bar spin from Thomas Lemoine, 360 bar spin to X out from Billy. Just looks so amazing when both the riders are spinning the same direction and doing similar variations. It's almost like synchronization. It's art right here on the speed and style course.
And look at that, the front wheel.
No, just barely. Like his fellow Frenchman Tim Bringer did earlier on the second berm on this course. Oh, I'm just so bummed to see that, and I know Lemoine is pissed. Doesn't like making mistakes, and he's usually mistake-free in speed and style. Looking back at that berm like, are you serious right now?
Okay, we can go down now to speak to the winner of that first round, Billy Meaclem. Billy, you actually could see that. We've just seen on the replay, as you were exiting that berm, you could see Thomas go down in front of you. What were you thinking when you saw that?
Yeah, well, I could taste it as well. All the dirt came out straight into my mouth. No, it definitely sucks when your teammate goes down on the side. It's not really a fair race.
But, I mean, from your perspective, this was always going to be a very close matchup in the style and the way that you both ride.
Yep, for sure. And these corners are very gnarly out here. That little bit of rain we had before didn't do a lot, but it's definitely pretty scary. Everyone's trying to go pretty hard for finals, and the berms are very low.
Yeah, Billy, talk to me about how hard it is to stay mistake-free in speed and style when you're just maxing it so hard with the tricks and with the speed. Just talk to me how you've been able to just keep it so clean through all your rounds.
Oh, it's pretty near impossible to stay mistake-free. The first few runs I missed a few tricks, but it's just, I don't know, having fun with it and just trying to keep calm and do what you know you can do.
Okay, thank you very much, Billy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so Billy Meaclem gets the better of one of the true legends of speed and style, Thomas Lemoine. Doesn't look like it's hurt anything apart from his pride there, though. And you know he's going to be hungry, but it's a big, big ask. As you said, when you asked Thomas about Billy Meaclem, he said he doesn't make any mistakes.
He just says, Thomas was telling me that Billy has just been so on it this whole week. But now we're back in the bronze medal matchup, Bas versus Matt.
And this one, very, very interesting. It's close between these two.
Okay, ready.
Just under 0.3 of a second behind. Matt Begg, if he can just speed this up a tiny bit or potentially throw down a bigger trick, then he's in touch with Bas van Steenbergen.
Oh, Bas so fast out of the gate, though. It's insane how fast he is out of the gate. Toboggan, 360 bar spin, trying to go for that one can, getting a little bit of steez, not quite getting the foot over, but stepping it up. Wow, look how far Bas is ahead. Matt is really going to have to do something wild on this second jump.
It's cost him a huge amount. I think we're going for that maximum.
Knack, knack. And the big three can again, pulling it perfect. He's got to be pinned through these black corners if he wants a chance. Across the finish line, it's going to be close.
Okay, 2.363, which means we've got 2.653 in total. Even with a huge trick differential, I don't think there's enough there. Bas van Steenbergen secures himself. I would say it's not confirmed yet, but another 60 points in that pursuit of the King of Crankworx title.
Look at this, the 360 bar spin, getting that leg off into UC, trying to get it over the frame, but not quite getting it.
Yeah, it looked like it cost him just an extra ounce of speed as well, didn't it?
Just a little bit, yeah. Let's see what they had coming into this second jump. The classic scrub knack from Bas, maximizing the speed. And the huge 3-count with a little euro even at the end from Matt there. Really nice and steezy.
We've got to look at it on this angle because you can't actually see it on the other camera. He boosted too high.
Yeah.
Phenomenal, and you can see the difference there. Bas was already onto his second gate while Matt was at the apex of his last jump there. So phenomenal speed from Bas van Steenbergen, just too much for the freeride smarts of Matt Begg.
So Matt loses by less than a second, and the fastest man of the day, pinning it, cooking, moving down this course all day. Big up, Bas van Steenbergen, the bronze medalist for today. And basically, you can confirm it now, the 2021 King of Crankworx.
Yes, we can. Congratulations, Bas. Now, we can take a look back now at run one from the gold medal match in the women's final. This one very, very close, all the way to the finish. Harriet Burbage-Smith on the right-hand side of the picture going up against the current reigning Queen of Crankworx, Vaea Verbeeck.
This was really sick to see the side-by-side tuck no-handers, both of the girls going for it. Now the second jump, which has been taking out so many of the ladies today on that same way. Vaea going down, big face plant, but she's tough. She gets up straight away and crosses the finish line.
Yeah. So unfortunate there. You saw that front wheel just getting pulled away from her by the wind underneath. Vaea still, though, has guaranteed herself second place. We've had confirmation from the officials that only Harriet will be racing on this second run. So it's a victory lap for the Australian who's just picked up her Red Bull helmet. Harriet Burbage-Smith picking up the full 100 points, but Vaea Verbeeck will be very pleased having made second place. She hasn't lost too much. She hasn't given away too much ground to Harriet Burbage-Smith.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Harriet is so stoked right now. Like you said, Red Bull helmet back in September, third place at Innsbruck for speed and style, and now she's going to be able to take a gold medal victory lap. I'm sure it's not exactly the way she wanted it to happen with Vaea going down, but in the end of the day, she's the trooper. She's the one that made it through and lasted through without crashing, without losing any races. And yeah, stoked for Haz.
Yeah, it's been a really heavy toll on the women's field today. Robin Gooms, Caroline Buchanan, Vaea Verbeeck all taking big slams. Ellie Chu taking 4 bites of the dirt here in Rotorua. But you said it at the start, one of the toughest riders out there. Harriet Burbage-Smith taking the win in the Clif Speed and Style, presented by Mons Royale. Phenomenal performance by the Australian.
Yeah, look at that camaraderie. Vaea, the first one to hug her at the finish line. Harriet, a huge redemption. She hit the jump, that second jump that took out all those girl riders in the morning, and she went down, and after that, she cleaned it up every run after. Getting a nice tire grab there, solid.
Looked so stylish without the pressure to race. She looked really comfortable on the course.
Very comfortable on the course, very confident on the bike. She said she's been doing a lot of events this year, which hasn't given her so much time to work on her tricks, but has made her feel incredibly comfortable on the bike and when she's riding.
Yeah, so Harriet, you started the Clif Speed and Style in 4th place overall in the Queen of Crankworx standings. I imagine you're going to be a lot further up those standings now.
I mean, we'll see what we see, and I'm just here to make it through the day and whatever.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? Making it through the day seemed to be the name of the game today.
Yeah, I was playing it pretty safe in a lot of the runs. The morning was good with wind, and then we had the rain, and then the wind picked up again. When it counted, I did a trick on both, and I was happy with that. So more than that, there was a lot of girls going down that were sending it, and I have so much respect for them, like absolute.
Yeah, Haz, congrats on today, but talk to me a little bit about how challenging that was, seeing so many of the girls go down and persevering and just being able to stay confident and stay positive to win those races that got you this gold medal.
Yeah, it was definitely hard. It was just on and off all yesterday as well, and so where we were going to do a full lap. And then I had a small crash in practice today, which threw me off a little bit as well. And more than anything, it was just being bummed for the girls that got injured and came down. I know they deserve a lot out of these events, and I'm really excited to see them come back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Harriet. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
So your champion with the tire grab on course, saying that she needed to do the tricks, certain tricks to beat these competitors. Very strategic, and she just persevered through and made it happen. Amazing to see.
Yeah, when it's this difficult, when conditions prove so challenging, consistency was key there, and that's what's paid off for Harriet Verbeeck-Smith.
Definitely.
Okay, we can take a look at run one now from our men's final. Thomas Lemoine versus Billy Meaclem. Very, very even out of the first start. Very quick through into this first jump. And then disaster strikes on the inside line for Thomas Lemoine.
Just trying to rip that berm. Look at how aggressive he takes that berm. Just barely with the front wheel over. And Billy, like we said, keeping it consistent all day. A former champion of this event, knowing what he has to do to be at the top today. But you never know. This is unpredictable. This is the final race we're going to see today, correct?
Yep. So Billy Meaclem, the 2019 Rotorua Speed and Style champion. Thomas Lemoine, the 2020 champion. Can Billy claim his title back? Never write off Thomas Lemoine. There's 2.98 seconds, but he will not give up.
Really looking good out the gate. Let's see what both riders have in this first jump. Oh, 360 intake. Nice different trick from Thomas Lemoine. Billy out in front, so dialed through these rollers, but Thomas not far behind. I'm sure Thomas has something for us for this second jump. The speed is looking good. Wow.
Billy playing it very safe with that backflip.
Oh, Thomas just steezing through that last one. Looks like he's not giving it everything he's got, accepting that silver medal. And Billy Meaclem, his second gold medal here in Rotorua. What a performance, what a day, taking down the Goliath of speed and style, Thomas Lemoine. Thomas, a trooper for going down hard and still going in that last matchup, but wow, Billy must be over the moon. New Zealand, doing it for New Zealand. Nice work, Billy.
The Clif Speed and Style winning streak is over for Thomas Lemoine, and it's the man who won here in 2019 who takes it off him. Billy Meaclem playing it safe with that backflip on the first jump, nice and steady. He makes sure he's got the right line into this inside berm.
Oh, look at the extension on that 360 inwards table from Thomas Lemoine. A trick that him and Emil Johansson excel in doing in slopestyle. And then steezy for both riders on that second jump. Speed and style, both of these guys embody exactly that phrase.
So Billy Meaclem, look at him, so relaxed in there. Time says 4.632, and that's before the trick differential. Wow. It is an absolute masterclass from Billy Meaclem.
Billy, your champion, his second gold medal here in Rotorua. Amazing to see. He's been on it all week, like we were talking about. Barely any mistakes. The strategy is there.
Well, what's amazing is exactly as you said, that Thomas Lemoine actually called it. He said he's not making any mistakes.
Amazing analysis from Lemoine. Obviously not his first time doing this event, and a veteran at Crankworx, he knows, he sees, he watches practice, he watches qualifications, he knows who the big threats are.
Well, we've got Billy on the headset now. Billy, congratulations. A phenomenal performance, start to finish. You won't have been able to hear us, but Nikolai was retelling the story of talking to Thomas Lemoine and saying that Thomas said he hadn't seen you make a mistake. It feels like your secret weapon out on this course has been consistency.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to keep it pretty consistent and don't get too stressed.
In that second run, going a little bit more safe, do you think, with the backflip on the first one? Was that the strategy?
Yeah, I'd just keep it safe. Kind of just had to keep the wheels down. We would have been all good.
Yeah, Billy, honestly, huge congrats. I just want to know how stoked you are winning this event in your home country of New Zealand against basically the best speed and style rider in the history of Crankworx, Thomas Lemoine. I can't imagine how stoked you are. Tell me about how you're feeling, bro.
Dude, I'm over the moon. That was a pretty cool day. And it's always sick when you get to go up against the best of the best. Lemoine's definitely a fun dude to ride with.
Fun fact for you, Billy, he had a winning streak of 3 speed and style events, so you've broken that for him, and you've reclaimed the Rotorua speed and style title from 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys.
Amazing work, bro. Amazing. Enjoy it.
Will do.
Thank you, Billy. That was a phenomenal performance and a great spectacle today in the Clif Speed and Style presented by Mons Royale. What a day of racing. I mean, there's been so much drama, Nicola. I really wasn't expecting it to be on that level.
Oh, man. Some of those matchups, I knew they were going to be crazy, but there was so much drama, like you said. Everyone crashing. Just unexpected stuff the whole day. Like, entertaining, electric, unpredictability, like classic speed and style fashion, but even crazier today, honestly.
Yeah, we always knew with the lineup of riders that we had that it was going to be close, but you add in the wind and the rain in there, and then the drama really ratchets up another couple of gears. Right now, though, we can take a look. We've got confirmation of the King of Crankworx standings overall. So take a look at this graphic. And it's pretty clear, Bas van Steenbergen, well, we take a look at how they get points first, I think. So through speed and style, dual slalom and pump track, this is how the men win the points. 100 first, 82nd and so on down until we get to 26 points for 10th. But when you actually look at that updated on the graphic for where they stand, you can see Jackson through, wow. Joe Breeder, Mick Hanna, Thomas Lemoine, the only rider here, steps up into 5th position. But he's 430 points behind Bas van Steenbergen. Is that right? Yeah, it is. Bas van Steenbergen, those performances in Innsbruck and then in British Columbia have paid incredible dividends. And then a 3rd place here at Speed and Style. He is coasting out in front. But it's the women's where it starts to get really tight. So this is how they win points. You've still got 180, 60, 50, 40, but then because you've got fewer women in the field, the points drop away a little bit quicker through those back 5 spaces. So how does that affect overall what we see today? Vaea Verbeeck still out in front, but Harriet Burbage-Smith has moved from 4th place into 2nd, and she is very much in touch with Verbeeck because we've still got 4 scoring events left in the race for the Queen of Crankworx. Robin Goom still in 5th there. Casey Brown, Keelani Hines, their choice not to ride today could be critical in how this pays out. Whoa. What a day of racing. I'm actually running out of air.
Yeah, same. So many of those races blew me away, and amazing to see all the riders pushing through and making that event happen. Definitely not the easiest conditions, definitely not the easiest situations with a lot of them going down, obviously in pain, but what a day.
Nikolai, you've been an absolute pleasure to commentate with as well. Thank you so much for joining us in here. The slopestyle course is just over to my left. I'm going to let him go. The moment we finish this, he's going to run out and grab his bike, start putting some laps down on that. We've got slopestyle coming up tomorrow, and then we'll have the finals of pump track in the evening. But we are far from done today. Coming up in just a couple of hours' time, we have Crankworx downhill, and this course is in devastating form. Do not miss that. Join us. I'll be joined by Ed Masters in the booth, so that will be just as entertaining. We'll see you then.